Yes, and there we go. Good morning. It is 10:35. Excitement is building, but that is it for today's show. But if you want to get in touch with the programme 24/7, you know you can get in touch with my team because I'm normally not online. Jen at rte.ie with any questions, any queries. I have to thank the team for the hard work today, and a special thanks to the outside broadcast team for keeping the show on the road. Damien and PJ and Cormac back at base. We are back on air tomorrow from 9. And before we hand over to Marie and her expert analysis team ahead of Ireland versus Nigeria, we want to say a huge thanks to Bohemian FC for having us here today. Best of luck to the girls in green. Maria, how excited are you?
I'm excited. I really want them to do well today. I want them to put in a really good performance, to finish on something really positive, because going home with 2 losses, and if this one is a loss as well, it'd be really difficult for any of them. They don't deserve that. It would be brilliant if they could get a win. But I don't know.
I think it's going to happen. I think because there's no pressure.
You're just head to toe in a green tracksuit.
Listen, is it too much? You're wearing the full flag.
I went full flag last day. Why not? We've gone all out.
I really hope they do well. There is is that happening? The homecoming on Thursday.
There's a homecoming on Thursday. Yeah, and again, like they've made history. They've gone to a World Cup. It's so difficult to get there. We're crying out for our men's teams to get to major tournaments. Our women's team have got there. They've done really well. So people are going to turn out to support them on Thursday. And the one thing as well is it's really hard to get there. So who knows when they're going to get there again. We hope that they keep getting to major tournaments. But this one is definitely worth marking. And all going to plan, they'll go out with a bang.
They will.
A bit like you.
Can I go now?
A bit like you, Jen. You head off now into the
I'm going to head off now. I'm going to switch on the game in the car. 11 a.m. kickoff. Best of luck to the girls in green. And I think I'm a bigger supporter because I'm full head to toe in green today. So thanks. Thanks, Marie. Chat to you soon.
Thanks so much. Alan Cawley is with me as well. Alan, do we have team news?
Good morning, Marie. We do have team news, yeah. And I suppose all the debate and discussion around going into this game, because it's a bit of a dead rubber now, Marie, is would Vera make changes and would she give some of the girls who obviously haven't played some game time? And I always felt that she would still go very strong, be very professional, and that's kind of the way she's played it here. Obviously, when you look at the team, she's made a couple of changes, all right. Heather Payne is coming back into the team. Of course, Heather missed the last game through injury, and also Lily Agg is in the team, which means Denise O'Sullivan will now push a little bit forward. So the team is Courtney Brosnan, the same three at the back: Niamh Fahey, Louise Quinn, Megan Connolly. You have Heather Payne right wing back, Katie McCabe left wing back. It looks like that box midfield with Lily Agg and Ruisha Littlejohn sitting in front of the back three, and as I said, Denise pushing further forward, Denise O'Sullivan with Sinead Farley and Kyra Carusa up front. So still a very strong team, Marie, and I think that's the right way to play, to be professional. Obviously the integrity of the competition as well. Vera spoke about Nigeria have a chance themselves of qualification, so it's a huge game for them. And even though there's no sentiment in football, really, to be honest with you, Marie, and unfortunately for the girls who obviously haven't played any minutes yet, it is unfortunate for some of them, and they're obviously not starting, the likes of maybe Chloe Mustaki, Diane Caldwell. But if it's a thing we're either winning 2 or 3-0 or we could be losing 2 or 3-0, she may throw a couple of them on towards the end. But I think the approach from the outset, naming a strong team, is the right one.
Yeah, Rebecca Cray is with us as well. Look, she's named the strong team. It looks like Denise is going to play a little bit further up the pitch, but that doesn't mean that the approach is going to be totally different either. Rebecca, what are you expecting?
Yeah, look, I think our defensive prowess is going to have to be there today. You know, we need to be disciplined. You know, they're very, very good in behind, you know, quite pacey, really direct. So it'd be just a case of, you know, keeping us compact, as I said, stay disciplined and look, hope for those breaks. I think has always been the kind of game plan for Vera in the previous 2 games, you know. But look, we need to go out, give the accounts that we've given in the previous games. Look, hopefully we might get a goal or 2 on the board. I'm delighted to see the likes of Denise now, who will probably push higher with Lily Agg and Littlejohn sitting in that box midfield. So we got one of our wishes. I know we're all looking for Katie to push higher, but look, Denise will do for now.
Yeah, and on Katie's role today, like she obviously has been brilliant the last 2 games. She really brought the fight to both Canada and Australia. Given the quality of the opposition, do you think that we're going to see her in a little bit more of an advanced position?
Yeah, that may change. Obviously, on the team sheet that we're looking at here, obviously there's the 3 at the back, and we're suggesting it will be the wing backs. Possibly she might move in a little bit centrally as the game progresses, but I think starting off it'll be much more of the same of what we've seen, Marie. I think Katie has nearly taken it upon herself at times to roam around and go central herself. I don't think it'll be an instruction from Vera, but she should maybe be given that licence to roam around a little bit to an extent. Obviously you have to keep your shape. We're playing against a difficult opponent in Nigeria, and as I said, they're in with a real chance of qualification to come out of the group, which would be an unbelievable achievement for them. So I think starting off the game you will see that structured kind of disciplined plan that we've seen so far in the games, but I would love to see her central. Of course, that's the debate that has raged between ourselves here, amongst the wider public, everybody that tunes in. She's been so good in the games, Marie, and I know from my own personal opinion, if your star player is the one that's obviously playing as well as she has in the 2 games, she's just so restricted in that left wing back position, that left back position, and she's still been brilliant despite playing in that position. So imagine what she could do centrally, and that's just the feeling that we have. I just think she's far too good to be playing where she is.
Yeah, she's world class. She's one of those players that you would hope that a team would be built around, and look, maybe in the future it will. She's been so key for this Ireland team, and yesterday she sat down and spoke to Tony O'Donoghue in Australia. Let's hear from her.
What would you do differently? What are the learnings?
It's hard to pinpoint that right now. It's something I'll review personally post-tournament when the dust settles and the craziness of it all. Yeah, there's so much that you can learn from day to day, you know, to understand what can we do better, what went well, why did this work, and obviously that's the role of the management as well to do that. And the FAI have been absolutely brilliant since being here as well, and they've supported us in kind of whatever we've needed to. If there are things that we do need going forward, yeah, I can honestly say that we've got such a good dialogue with the FAI now that our voices will be heard, which is obviously a great thing.
25 days ago when we sat down before the tournament, that was followed by the pre-match against France, and I think you were a bit annoyed that people were talking about Vera and the allegations against her and not the World Cup coming up.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a distraction?
It wasn't ideal. I was quite annoyed in the press conference, and I don't normally let myself get that because I like to think I'm a happier person or smiley person than that, and to be in the press conference and how eerie it was, I didn't like the feeling. I didn't expect that to be the feeling going into our first ever send-off game to a World Cup, and I think that's what frustrated me the most.
Yeah, that press conference is one that I think we'll probably be referring to for years to come, because it did very much, I think, reveal that there was a few cracks in the camp behind the scenes, and you could tell that Katie was frustrated that there was a lot going on. And, you know, fast forward a couple of weeks, and I think it's became even more in focus that there's a lot going on, and we know that there's a lot of uncertainty around Vera Pauw's contract. It's been difficult for the players. They have been asked about it, a few senior players, over the last few days, and while no one has said they don't want her to stay on, no one has fully come out, Alan, and backed her either. And just from the players' perspective, how difficult is it for them at the moment?
Yeah, it's very difficult, I'd say, Marie, and I suppose the beauty of the opening 2 games was that everything was still on the line, in the sense that that was the main focus, and we were still very much in the group. Since obviously the Canada defeat, we know now that we're out of the competition, even though we have this game to play. So all those kind of questions and all that uncertainty has resurfaced again, and it is difficult. You mentioned there 3 or 4 of the girls were obviously in some of the interviews in the lead up to this match, and none of them have come out emphatically and backed Vera, and they've kind of dodged the question a little bit, so it's very difficult for them as well, and they're not really in that position where they should be answering those questions in terms of her future. But I suppose what we've seen in other camps and other squads and amongst other players, if they really want the manager to stay, they're quick to come out and say that. The fact that none of them have, I think, does raise some issues and some concerns, and also the silence from the FEI as well around Vera's contract situation. And we all knew it was up in the air before the tournament, and now obviously here we are 2.5 weeks later on the verge of going out of the tournament, and all these questions are resurfaced again. And I think
coming from the FAI, then all the speculation starts to mount, and it feels like that's the situation now. Even the last couple of days there was press conferences with Vera Pauw. Tony O'Donoghue spoke to her. He asked her, should there be more clarity about her role from the FAI? She said yes. It was one of those real awkward moments. A silence followed. She then went on to say that the FAI know exactly where she stands, and pretty much that the ball is in their court, but we are yet to hear from the FAI.
I think as well, sorry Marie, it's a little bit unfair on Vera, I have to say. Like, all this narrative that's breaking out around the contract situation and whether the girl's back or not, she still has to deserve some credit that she was the one and the manager that has taken us to the World Cup and achieved that unbelievable historical moment in qualifying for this. So she deserves a lot of credit for that. And I also think she deserves a bit of respect now, in the sense that if they don't want her, or if her contract, as we know, is up and they're not renewing it, come out and tell her and be honest with her and be honest with the public as well, and just clear it up.
But if her contract isn't being renewed, then is it the right thing to do to inform a manager mid-tournament?
No, I mean, once this is done now, they have to come out. Obviously, I understand the silence in the last couple of days around maybe the FEI, and I think it's unfair the girls being asked these questions in the lead up to that match. But as soon as this is over now, I think that needs to be put to bed as soon as possible. It's dragged on for too long now. Vera wanted this situation sorted before the tournament. Obviously, it wasn't. There may have been waiting to see in terms of how we did, I'm not so sure, or maybe some of the other stuff and some of the other noise that's been out there. But now that the tournament will be over after today, I think they need to take control of it and just kind of put it to bed once and for all.
Rebecca, do you think that Vera Pauw is the right manager to lead this Ireland team into the future?
I think just judging off the kind of experiences that we've had with Vera in the last few months, 6 months especially, there's been a lot of baggage that has come with her. I think she's obviously, as Alan has said, you have to give her credit for where she's taken us. We've reached the first major tournament that we always wanted to reach, and I think she's got what she's came to do. And look, it's a case that I very much think myself personally that it could be a case of fresh body coming in, fresh ideas. We still have got that body of players there. I think it just speaks volumes, that there's not been a support, I suppose, for her staying on. I think the silence has been deafening from the FAI. I know Jonathan Hill was meant to address the press on I think the 12th of July out in Australia, and then just defer that to after the tournament. I don't know if it's a case that Vera knows her fate already, and it's just not public knowledge and it's not going to come out until after the tournament. But for me, I think it's a case that she's taken us as far as she can.
Yeah, it's such a pity now because it is overshadowing the build up to this game. And, in ways, Alan, it did overshadow the build up to the World Cup as well because there was so much focus on it. But today, I think if they could go out and get a result, put in a performance, and go home on a bit of a high anyway, that it would probably do a lot for the players themselves, that they could actually enjoy it that little bit more and have taken a lot more from the experience, because we want this to be the starting point. We want this Ireland team to go on to major tournaments, every major tournament if possible, but then there needs to be the right person in place to lead them forward, and there needs to be unity within that group because there are good players there.
Yeah, absolutely, Marie. And I just think it's a little bit sad the way it kind of seems to have, it seems as though it's ending. Obviously the last game today, as you're saying, it would be brilliant if they were able to put 3 points on the board and come home on a high, and that would be, like, we look back then, if they were to get the victory today, we look back and say they gave really good performances. Maybe one half where obviously they weren't as good against Canada, that second half. The other 3 halves in the 2 games that they played were very good. If they were to get the victory today, you would come home certainly with a positive spin on that, absolutely. But because of all the noise from the outside, and as you say, because of all the other stuff that's kind of overshadowing the contract situation and the squad at the moment, it does seem to be ending on a little bit of a sour note. And I'm sad about that because we were so kind of positive 2 weeks ago, looking forward to the tournament for the last number of weeks, Marie. All the nights that we've been there in Tala watching the games, covering the games, for them to finally reach that milestone, it was an unbelievable achievement. As I say, we were so positive about this group and the potential of possibly coming
now, and it's come and it's going to be over by this afternoon. How will you reflect on Ireland at the World Cup?
Yeah, look, on the pitch, I don't think we can be anything but proud. They went out and it wasn't a case that we were just going to go there and just take part. We wanted to prove a point that, we have got a good setup here. We've got a grown kind of developing league, and a lot of these players have come from that, and I think we gave a great account of ourselves in the first 2 games. No one ever thought that we were ever going to compete, with 2 top 10 teams, and to be disappointed coming out with the losses that we did, to not at least get draws from them, just speaks volumes for me. I just think they've done really well, I should say. To come as far as we have in the last 5-6 years is phenomenal. I think it's only the start. I think, like, I was only speaking to my little cousin, she's only about 7, doesn't even like football, and to come up to me and say she's watched games the last 2 weeks and Katie McCabe's her favourite player now, like, I think that just says everything. We've got this far it's only the start, as I said, and I'm pretty sure major tournaments would be a thing of the future for us.
Yeah, and so we hope. So they're taking on Nigeria today, and it's a really interesting group actually, because Nigeria will qualify for the next phase with a win or a draw against Ireland today. They can lose and go through if Canada defeat Australia, otherwise tiebreakers come into play. So both Canada and Australia are going to be really interested in how this game goes. But just from Nigeria's perspective, they've done really well, Alan.
They've been phenomenal, Maria. And again, we go back to obviously the start of the group, and all eyes was on the fact that we had Canada and Australia as being the two most difficult because of the rankings. But here's Nigeria, who've surprised everybody, and obviously they're in with a shout of topping the group as well, which would be an unbelievable achievement for them. Obviously, if they beat us today, and they will fancy their chances based on what they've done so far. They obviously have a superstar forward in Oshala, who plays with Barcelona. She's shown up really well in the tournament, scored against Australia in the last game as well. So certainly the three girls at the back, Niamh, Louise Quinn and Megan Connolly, will have their hands full with her. And just, I suppose, the physicality and the energy that they bring as well, Nigeria. They've been very, very good in those two games, obviously against Canada and against Australia. So all eyes from our point of view, and rightly so, is on our girls and our team. But from Nigeria's perspective and Nigeria's point of view, they've been absolutely brilliant, Marie, and they've had a brilliant World Cup, and with a chance, as I say, to top the group, which would be incredible for them.
It really would. Okay, we will have more analysis to come. We're going to take a very quick break right now, though. Stay with us, and we'll also have that first half of the Ireland-Nigeria game.
The FIFA Women's World Cup 2023.
Live on RTE 2FM.
Now, welcome back. We are live from Dalymount on 2FM ahead of the Ireland-Nigeria game. Alan Cawley and Rebecca Cray are with me in studio. We can see the teams are lining up and ready to head onto the pitch. They look very much in the zone. I see Louise Quinn there with her black eye, and for players like Louise Quinn, Alan Niamh, Diane Caldwell, Anya O'Gorman, this could be one of the last times we see them in their Ireland jerseys. In ways, it could be the end of an era.
Yeah, it could be the end of an era. We're speaking about the manager, maybe her time up, but I think the girls as well are realistic enough to know that this will be their final swan song in terms of a major tournament, even possibly as Ireland internationals. Whether it'll carry on, who knows, Marie, but certainly in terms of an elite tournament, you won't see them at it again. But again, the servants that they've been absolutely fantastic all over the years, and for them to have, I suppose, their moment in the sun of what they've had the last 2 or 3 weeks has been phenomenal for them, and they'll want to go out on a high. Like, there's personal pride at play as well here, Marie, in terms of trying to get, I suppose, a point on the board, but also just to give another really good account to themselves and finish this tournament off on a high for them.
Yeah, okay, well, the teams are lining up now for the anthems. The end for Ireland is near, but we still have this big Ireland-Nigeria game to come. Let's join Adrian and Claire in Australia.
And in Brisbane, our Ron Naveen just underway. Sung with great pride and passion. Louise Quinn remarking over the weekend, it's been the highlight for her, belting out the national anthems. Right now, though, it's time for the national anthem of Nigeria. Hurrah for Ireland. They will not want to go home without at least a point on the board. A 1-0 loss to Australia in Sydney might have got something. A 2-1 defeat to Canada in Perth might have got something. And now Claire Shine to try and get something.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've surprised everyone with their first two performances, but today, can we go on further? I really, really hope so. I really hope we can.
Well, the group of death, as it has been dubbed, and for Nigeria, Canada and co-host Australia, it goes right down to the wire for all three of those in the fight to make it out of Group B. Sadly, the scrap to progress to the last 16 doesn't involve Ireland. 2 games and 2 narrow losses, as mentioned. But of course, for Ireland, there is the prospect of making an impact in this group on the final day of matches in Melbourne. Right about now, about to get underway. It's Canada against Australia. Vera Pauw has led the Republic of Ireland to the finals, an historic achievement. And yesterday she spoke about the importance of finishing well, both for the country and indeed, more importantly, for the integrity of the competition. And she also, in fact, referenced the FAI and FIFA. An Irish win here would certainly open the door for Canada and Australia, who, as I mentioned, kicked off around about now in Melbourne. Vera Pauw's future remains uncertain. She's out of contract pretty soon. She's been seeking clarity on the future, but this could potentially be her last game as Ireland manager. We'll have to wait and see. Our match referee this evening, as it is in Brisbane, is Katia Garcia from Mexico. And the man in charge of VAR is Massimiliano Irati of Italy. And in terms of the Irish team news, in case you're just joining us, Heather Payne, who was so distraught at having been forced off through injury prior to the game with Canada in Perth, starts. She's shaken off that hamstring injury. Out goes Anya O'Gorman. Lily Agg gets a start ahead of Lucy Quinn. Your thoughts, Claire, on those 2 changes for Ireland?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for Lily to show what she can do. Her goal against Finland was monumental for this team qualifying for the World Cup. But it also gives that chance for Denise to sit in a more of an attacking role where she can be free and do what she does best.
Okay, and just to run through the Irish team, it is Courtney Brosnan, Heather Payne, Niamh Fahey, Louise Quinn, Megan Connolly and Katie McCabe, with Payne and McCabe playing the roles of wing-backs this evening. Ruesha Littlejohn gets through so much work in the centre of midfield. Denise O'Sullivan, Sinead Farley, Lily Agg, and up top, occupying that out-and-out striking role, Kira Carusa of London City Lionesses. They're about to remove, and they have removed, the signage that says Beyond Greatness. The 2 teams are set, and Ireland this evening all in white with the numbering in green, and Nigeria in their traditional dark green garb. And what a quality side they are. They've really put themselves in such a super position after that win here at this very ground on Thursday night against Australia. That 3-2 win with Asisa Oshwala coming off the bench to score what proved to be the winning goal. At that stage, it gave them a 3-1 advantage. And although Alana Kennedy headed in stoppage time, Nigeria had done the business. And they are a very impressive side, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Nigeria, they're a team that I actually fear the most coming into the World Cup. They're so powerful, they're quick, and they can score goals. They showed exactly that against Australia, and what they can do. And yeah, completely caught everybody by surprise.
Katia Garcia has blown the whistle, and away we go. It's Nigeria who've gotten us underway, but straight away it's Ruesha Littlejohn who has possession, plays it up to Kira Carusa. This ground holds just under 50,000. It's about half full, maybe less than half full. They're anticipating a crowd of around about 22,500, and it's fair to say that the vast majority here are wearing green, are supporting the team in green. No doubt about it, Nigeria will have their supporters as well, but there's been such a huge Irish influx into Brisbane in the last few days. We saw the pictures from the fan zone yesterday with Katie McCabe and Vera Pauw going along to meet the fans, but it is it's almost like a home game.
Yeah, it is. There's actually more here than what there would be in Tala, which is extremely surprising, seeing that's the other side of the world. But that's what the Irish fans do. They're singing Ole 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 again today, and it gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. It's just phenomenal, the support that they're getting.
Well, that crossfield ball from Ruesha Littlejohn had too much on it. Heather Payne had advanced from that right wing back role to try and get on the end of it, but it drifted behind for a goal kick, which has been taken short by Chiamaka Nnadozie, who's had a tremendous tournament. The Nigerian boss Randy Waldron was signalling her out for special praise at yesterday's press conference, saying that she's the leader of the team. In fact, she's the captain of the team. A lot of quality in the other 10 positions, but the Nadozie made an outstanding save to deny Christine Sinclair in Nigeria's opening match at the World Cup, that 0-0 draw. It was a smashing save to preserve a 0-0 scoreline for Nigeria, who of course have put themselves in such a very promising position to progress. They need at the very least a draw here this evening, and they've got themselves an early free kick here. It's about 15-20 metres inside the Irish half, left hand side of the pitch, to be taken by Tony Payne. So that means that Demahin and O'Halley, the central defenders, have gone forward, and it's a tester for Courtney Brosnan, who's all in yellow this evening, and it's one that she's equal to. Very commanding start from her.
Yeah, absolutely. She's demanding that box, and she came out and she really did really well there to, collect that ball. But Tony Payne, she's a significant threat with her set piece delivery, so we need to be really wary of that.
And again, the ball is drifted out of play on the far side, so it'll be a throw-in for Nigeria. We mentioned their quality, and here's one of them getting on it. Ajibade, Christy
and Lily are defensive midfielders, and Denise is just sitting in front of them. But as we lose possession, Denise is coming right back in, right next to them. So I'm not really sure if she's going to be more of a defensive or a more of attack at the moment. But I'm sure it'll play out in the next couple of minutes.
Here's Uchenna Kanu, who scored against Australia on Thursday night, as the ball is sent back by Lily Yag, and she was asking rather a lot of Courtney Brosnan. Oshwala was closing in, and she had to get her timing just right, but an anxious moment there for Lily Yag with that back pass.
Yeah, it is. We've had nightmares like that in the past. We really don't want to have that in the opening minutes of this game.
So it's a throw in for Nigeria in the 4th minute, to be taken by Ashley Plumter, born in Leicester and playing for Leicester City. Nigeria, the land of her grandfather, so she's really immersed herself in the culture of the country. Here's Tony Payne creating an angle to deliver a sweeping cross. Plenty of bend on it, but it drifts behind for a goal kick for Courtney Brosnan. Tony Payne sweeping that ball in, but nobody on hand to make contact and apply the vital finish. This, of course, Ireland's final game in Group B, being played in Brisbane this evening. Sadly, nothing at stake for Ireland, but it's important, if they can, to try and get a result here this evening, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to go for it, as well as I can see her here. You can see Denise creeping into those pockets in front of Kyra, which is going to be crucial. That's where she thrives, that's where she does her best, and that's where she can create chances for us, and that's what we've been missing, I think, in the last 2 games.
Katie, yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be good to see Denise in those areas.
Sinead Farley lays off the ball to Katie McCabe. Certainly appears to be a higher line about the wing backs so far, Heather Payne and Katie McCabe. Lovely work by Heather Payne just to guide the ball on, but it's been cut out by Blessing Demehin at the expense of an Irish throw-in, and you can hear what the Irish fans think about that every time they press inside the final third. Up goes the noise levels. Payne with the cross, an opportunity for Farley, and Katie McCabe with a shot from just inside the area, left hand side, pulls it right across the face of goal in the 5th minute. First clear cut opportunity of the game, and you'd have banked on Katie McCabe in that position, but wide.
Oh, she was just inches, and I was actually watching the warm-up, and from that exact same position she buried 2 into the bottom corner. That was just really unfortunate. I think she miskicked it a little bit. Oh, that was such a good opportunity for Ireland.
Certainly was for Katie McCabe and for the Republic of Ireland, and lovely set-up play, it has to be said, and Sinead Farley with the layoff for Katie McCabe, but McCabe just dragged her shot wide. So an early warning there for Nigeria as Plumter sends it back to Demahin. O'Halley, who hobbled off against Australia here on Thursday, but is A-OK for Nigeria. What a huge game for Randy Waldrum and everybody involved with Nigerian football as they go long, and it sails through to Courtney Brosnan, who's just at the fringe of the Irish penalty area, and she rolls it out to Nia Fahy. What a tournament Nia Fahy has had for the Republic of Ireland. Those that watched the stats were saying that she made 11 clearances in the last game against Canada, and something like 4 blocks as well. So she's been on the money defensively. Brosnan under pressure here from Oshwala, manages to execute the clearance. Plumter onto it, and now it's Uchebe who has possession for Nigeria as they try to just feel their way into this contest. Ball worked out to that right hand side to Michelle Olozi, who along with Randy Waldrum was at the press conference yesterday. Uchebe feeds the ball wide, but too much on it, and despite the best efforts of Rashida Ajibade, the ball goes out of play. Ireland getting on with it smartly here, and of course we'll bring you news of any goals in the other match in Melbourne, that big game between Canada and Australia. Huge pressure on the co-hosts to progress from the tournament. The loss to Nigeria here on Thursday, well, that really was Well, a huge blow to national confidence as Megan Connolly steers it forward. Katie McCabe again getting further forward here than we've perhaps witnessed in the previous two games, but the ball is defended and knocked out of play on the far side, but McCabe has it from the resulting throw and drifts into a more central position about 45 metres out from goal, trying to just slide the ball through, but Nigeria have it back, but won back by Ireland. Sloppy passing, and Sinead Farley was there to pick up the pieces. Megan Connolly, and now it's with Louise Quinn, who's certainly been in the wars at the World Cup finals in Australia and New Zealand. She's had to ship a few knocks, but she's played through the pain barrier when required. She's on it once again. Louise Quinn from Lessington in County Wicklow off to the lady from Turner's Cross in Cork. That's Megan Connolly. Will be looking for a new club after the World Cup finals. Here's Lily Agg on it for the Republic of Ireland inside the centre circle. Ireland playing with a fair bit of confidence early on here. Fahy steers it forward to Payne, looking for... Well, she was trying to pick out Ciara Carusa, but too much on it. Carusa was stretching just on the edge of the D to try and get the ball under control. And Tony Payne now has it for Nigeria. Feeds it down their right-hand side, but Megan Connolly superbly across and steers it back to Courtney Brosnan in the Irish goal.
Yeah, that was brilliant covering there from Megan. But, you know, this Irish team are really, really going at it. You can see the interchange from... Farley and McCabe down the left hand side, and here they are again, and that was excellent from Katie, and yeah, it's gone out for a corner. Brilliant work by Sinead Farley and Katie McCabe in tandem down Ireland's left hand side. A little give and go on the attempted cross from Sinead Farley. It's deflected behind for a corner kick, and early possession stats here tell us that Ireland have had 62% of the possession in the match, so that'll tell you something. And of course they've had that one big opportunity that fell the way of Katie McCabe, but she just drilled her shot right across the face and goal and wide of the target. We're in the 9th minute, and Ireland with another corner kick here and an opportunity to test out this Nigerian defence. It'll be Megan Connolly from Ireland's left hand side to drill it in, right footed. Plenty of whip on it, and it's a tester for the goalkeeper. Now Dozy puts a fist to it, hasn't managed to get it away. Katie McCabe trying to get the ball under control just inside the area, but it's booted away for an Irish throw-in on this near side of the pitch, and Ireland have started this game very promisingly indeed. No, they have, and you know, they're trying things out. This is what we wanted from them all along. We wanted them to play on the front foot and go after it. You know, this is their last game of the World Cup, and they have nothing to lose. So, you know, they're trying new things, and you can see it that they really want it, and they really want to, you know, make the country proud today. Well, Ireland have possession inside the centre circle with Ruesha Littlejohn, who feeds it wide to Megan Connolly. Katie McCabe on the outside, Sinead Farley further forward. Some space down this right hand side for Heather Payne if Ireland decide to work it across, and they have, to Niamh Fahy, and the Galway woman gets the ball under control. Heather Payne off and running, and she was crying out for the ball, but instead Ireland recycle it through Louise Quinn. Here's Lily Agg, one of the two changes made by Vera Pauw and the management team, and Vera Pauw's team have started this game very, very brightly. Lily Agg fouled inside the centre circle. Ireland get themselves a free kick, which is quickly taken by Louise Quinn off to Niamh Fahy, and Quinn has it once again out to Ireland's left hand side, and it's with Megan Connolly, has support from Katie McCabe. And I can tell you that there's been a goal in the game in Melbourne, and the Aussies have made the breakthrough. Australia 1-up on Canada. I'll tell you all about the goal score very shortly, but Australia in front in Melbourne. Here's Heather Payne trying to make inroads for Ireland on the right hand side. Niamh Fahy, and Payne onto it once again. Denise O'Sullivan in a central position. Niamh Fahy unable to pick her out, but again promising from Ireland. And certainly Nigeria know they're in a contest here. Any suggestions that Ireland would just turn up and turn over, well off the mark on the basis of the opening 11 minutes here, where it's Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. Hayley Rasso with that early goal for Australia. So Australia in front in Melbourne. Canada 0, Australia 1, which means that as things stand, Australia top of Group B on 6 points, 1 point ahead of Nigeria. So as it stands in play, Australia and Nigeria would be going through, but still a long, long way to go in both matches, both here in Brisbane and indeed in Melbourne. O'Halley square now for Blessing Demaheen, and Demaheen out to Ashley Plumter on Nigeria's left hand side, just shy of halfway. Ayinde holds it up and feeds it back
to O'Halley. And that's a loose one in the direction of Alozi, but she did well to get there. And now it's at Uchebe under real pressure from Katie McCabe, who's snapping at her heels. And you can hear again what the Irish fans think of that. Uchebe under all kinds of pressure. Feeds it back to O'Halley, and O'Halley in turn forced to go all the way back to her goalkeeper. Nadozi takes a touch, closed down by Carusa, and very calmly done by Nadozi because the heat was on and the pressure was building, but very calm in a pressure situation there. The goalkeeper, Chiamaka Nadozi for Nigeria, but loosely given away by Michelle Alozi straight to the Irish midfielder Ruisha Littlejohn, and Ireland get control of the ball once again with Megan Connolly playing it square just outside the Irish penalty area, and Louise Quinn has time to get the ball under control and returns it now to Connolly. Ireland starting to build and probe, but it's been a tentative start from Nigeria, who of course know that a point will be sufficient to see them into the last 16. But it's a dangerous game given the way that Ireland has started, which has been very, very positive and on the front foot. Quinn has it once again, Louise Quinn. And square now for Megan Connolly. Katie McCabe out left, so too Sinead Farley. Wants the early ball, and she's been picked out, but cut out by Michelle Alozi for Nigeria. Achibade has it for the Nigerians, but superbly won back for Ireland by Sinead Farley. Ireland have started really industriously here, winning the ball back very, very quickly indeed. Now Louise Quinn under no pressure, but she's given it away straight to Kanu, and Kanu will slide it through. This is a chance. Oshwala inside the area for Nigeria, and right across the face of goal. Well, you thought the net was destined to bulge, but not to be. Asisa Oshwala misses a real opportunity for Nigeria.
Yeah, that was a big mistake there from Louise Quinn. She saw the opening, the pass into Denise O'Sullivan, but it was just cut out, and it was a great pass into Oshwala. I don't know, I think she just kind of doubted herself when she was going one-on-one with Courtney, but yeah, that was a big opportunity for Nigeria, and we're lucky to get away with one there.
Well, a loose pass almost proving to be fatal for Ireland, but they got away with it. Sinead Farley is onto it now for Ireland, just inside the Nigerian half. Lily Yag, who's been all busy and go so far in the match. Now Denise O'Sullivan hasn't seen too much of the ball so far, sends it back to Fahy, and Fahy once again has Quinn square. That's Louise Quinn, and Quinn sending it on to Ruisha Littlejohn just inside the Irish half, and she lays it off now to Megan Connolly. Again, Katie McCabe in position to receive the pass. Ciara Carusa dropped out to a wide left position, but Ireland recycle it once again. Back with Louise Quinn just inside the Irish half. It's a lovely still evening in Brisbane. Conditions absolutely ideal for this game of football, as Heather Payne is onto it, but she loses out to Ayinde, and Ayinde manages to work the ball away from Denise O'Sullivan. In the end, it goes out of play, and it'll be an Irish throw-in just inside the Nigerian half, Ireland's right-hand side of the pitch, and Nia Fahy will leave it for Heather Payne to take. The woman from Ballinasloe in the county of Roscommon, right on the border, but she's a Roscommon woman through and through. Ruisha Littlejohn from Glasgow out to Katie McCabe, and she drifts into a more central position. And Ireland all in white this evening, continuing to probe and build. Sinead Farley has it far side of the pitch, about halfway inside the Nigerian half. Back with Katie McCabe, and she strokes it into the centre circle for Louise Quinn, and Quinn fires it out to this near side. Heather Payne really had to chase back to keep the ball alive for Ireland, but only for the benefit of Uchenna Kanu. And Ireland again winning the ball back quickly, but they've gifted possession to Oshwala. Megan Connolly is there to break it up, but now Kanu feeds it into Tony Payne, and she prods the ball on, but straight to Megan Connolly, and Ireland have it back temporarily. Kanu sees it back to halfway to Uchebe, out to Nigeria's right hand side now as they try to build something here with Michelle Alozi. Back with Uchebe for Nigeria, dinks it into the penalty area, but Louise Quinn manages to clear for Ireland. Ayinde is onto it, very patient from Nigeria as they try to build and probe once again. Alozi down that right hand side, Ajibade with the return pass, Megan Connolly across from the middle, and she has started the game very impressively indeed. Megan Connolly with a firm challenge, the ball goes out of play, and Nigeria get the decision on the far side.
We're making it really hard for ourselves, I think. You know, we won the ball back 3 times there in 3 different opportunities, and we gave the ball away. We need to be better in possession. We need to find a pass. We need to find another white shirt, because we're giving the ball away right outside our box, and they're able to really get down our throats if they wanted to, but we're just really making it hard for ourselves. We need to put our foot on the ball, and we need to try and get that control back.
Try and dictate matters here in Brisbane. That has to be the target now for Vera Pauw's side, but Nigeria have this throw-in on the far side. Nigeria, who've won 4 of their last 5 games. That includes pre-World Cup matches as well. So there's a confidence about Randy Waldrum's side, and he was very upbeat in his press conference yesterday. But he said, surprisingly, I feel this might be our toughest game. He said, believe it or not. And so far that's proven to be the case, as Ayinde slips it forward, and now they're threatening once again with Oshwala inside the area but forced wide. She'll hold it up. Michelle Alozi is available, but instead she turns into traffic, and Oshwala has knocked the ball out of play for an Irish goal kick. 0-0 if you're just tuning in to 2FM's coverage on a Game On special with Marie Crowe, Alan Cawley and Rebecca Cray live from Dalymount. And we'll get their thoughts in due course, but no let up in the action so far. And Fahy steers it to Ireland's left hand side to Connolly, and Connolly advancing again unchallenged, and she just punts it forward to Sinead Farley, who plays her football with Gotham in the New Jersey area of New York. Now it's Louise Quinn, and Quinn out to Ireland's right hand side, but again it's careless. She was just anticipating that Niamh Fahy would be off her heels. Fahy expected the ball to be played to her feet, but instead it was played in front of Fahy, and Ireland knocked the ball out of play, and that's cheap possession given away.
Yeah, it is. I think Louise needs to just try and put that last pass behind her. She's made 3 unsuccessful passes, and I think that could be probably playing on her mind. We know what Louise is capable of. We know how good she is. She needs to just put that behind her and try and make the next pass successful, because she's giving the ball away really cheaply at the moment.
Well, Nigeria have it, played forward by Demehin, and Ireland trying to keep it alive at the moment. Demehin under pressure from Kira Carusa. She has to work so hard, doesn't she, Kira Carusa?
Yeah, she does. She's been exceptional over the last 2 games. She's a powerhouse, and she's everything you want in a striker, especially when you play the way we play. We need someone who's good at holding up the ball, someone who's strong, and can, make it really hard for the defenders. And yeah, she's just been unbelievable in the last 2 games.
Well, she had a couple of chances, of course, against Canada in the first half, as Katie McCabe goes striding down Ireland's left-hand side, and she's been upended by Rashida Ajibade. So it's going to be a free kick for Ireland, just about a metre in from the sideline on the far side, but in line with the edge of the Nigerian penalty area. We're in the 20th minute, no goals. Republic of Ireland, the designated home team this evening. Republic of Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. But an opportunity for Ireland here from this set piece. 2 in the Nigerian wall, but this one will be swung in by Megan Connolly from the far side. As I say, just about a metre or 2 in from the far touchline. And plenty in the white of Ireland inside the area, including Lily Agg, Niamh Fahy, Denise O'Sullivan on the edge of the area. Sinead Farley towards the back post. The free kick is swung in. The keeper comes, and she hasn't managed to hold on to it, and it almost presented an opportunity for Lily Agg, but Chimaka Ndozi recovered at the second attempt.
Yeah, the ball just floated in, and the keeper fumbled it, and it literally just bounced over Lily Agg's head. If it had bounced anywhere else, it was going into the back of the net. It's just very unlucky.
Well, now pressure being applied on Uchenna Kanu by Lily Agg. Good work by the Brighton-born player for the Republic of Ireland, who gave up her teaching job about 6 months ago in order to really focus and prepare for the World Cup finals. She was talking about having to do corrections and trying to fit in the gym work and all of that, and she said it was taking its toll. Her football was suffering, so she sacrificed the day job. She plays for London City Lionesses, but she gave it all up to focus on this World Cup competition for Ireland. And she's getting her reward tonight with a starting role in the centre of midfield alongside Ruisha Littlejohn. Alozi forward for Nigeria, cut out by Littlejohn for Ireland. Ajibade losing out, and Ireland have it back once again with Katie McCabe to Ruisha Littlejohn just inside the Irish half, and now Denise O'Sullivan gets on it with Heather Payne bombing on down this right hand side. And Denise O'Sullivan picks out the pass to Niamh Fahy. Oh, lovely little flick from Katie McCabe to release Denise O'Sullivan. It could be an opportunity. Carusa inside the area. Kira Carusa with the pullback attempt. Could have gone for goal. Decided not to. Payne with the cross. And it's defended by Nigeria. Another opportunity falling the way of Ireland. But again, not taken.
That was an insane piece of skill from Katie McCabe. The ball just come to her, and she kind of turned it through the Nigerians' legs, and found Denise. And this is where Denise is most dangerous, in those pockets of space, and she played the ball into Kyra, and unfortunately the ball was a little bit too far out. The angle was too tight for Kyra to get a shot on target, but she pulled it back, and unfortunately there was no Irish person there to just tap it into the back of the net.
Well, more positives for Ireland to take, and certainly against Australia here on Thursday night. Nigeria defensively at times looked very, very shaky, so if Ireland can continue to press and probe, there's potentially goals here for them. One would do nicely for starters. 22 minutes played, Ireland 0, Nigeria 0, and again Ireland have possession of the ball. Louise Quinn out to Megan Connolly, Ireland's left hand side, just inside the Nigerian half. She sends it on with Katie McCabe. Farley goes on the overlap, and Katie McCabe into a central position once again, but she's given possession straight to Asisa Oshwala. She was under no great pressure, perhaps didn't get the call, but in any event Ireland giving away possession of the ball all too easily, and Tony Payne sees it back to Michelle Alozi, and now it's with O'Hale inside the Nigerian half, and she strides forward. Game at times being played at a slowish enough tempo, and the ball out to this near side for Ashley Plumter, but too much on it. It just bounced awkwardly in front of her and out of play, and Ireland get the throw in and get on with it quickly. But there's been a commendable sense of urgency about Ireland not taking their time over throw-ins. They're really going for it. All these suggestions that Ireland, well, in some quarters certainly, that Ireland might be content just to take a point here and get something on the board as the fans get behind the team once again. Great to see so many Irish supporters in attendance as Fahy gives it away to Ayinde inside the centre circle. Lily Ag battling to try and win it back for Ireland. Out to Alozi on the far side, Nigeria work it. Ajibade on halfway, and Ayinde. Plenty of options available to Ayinde, so she goes back to O'Hale, and now Blessing Demehin for the Nigerians, just inside her own half, and now Plumter getting forward. There's a feature of her performance against Australia on Thursday night. Ashley Plumter getting forward along with Michelle Alozi on the opposite flank, but this time the door is closed firmly by Ireland, and the offside flag went up, and Ireland get a free kick. And Nia Fahy off to Megan Connolly, and Megan Connolly halfway inside the Irish half slips it forward now to Sinead Farley, who was brought in of course by Vera Pauw post qualification. So much quality, but so much time spent away from football. She was out of football for over 7 years, having suffered a car crash, or been involved in a car crash back in 2015, but a player of real quality who can bring so much to the Irish party. And again, Katie McCabe gets on it, this time inside the centre circle. Space here now for Heather Payne, perhaps to exploit for Ireland, trying to slide it down the line for the run of Lily Ag, but unable to link up. Plumter got in the way, and it'll be a throw in for Ireland halfway inside the Nigerian half. Lovely layout by Denise O'Sullivan, and now an opportunity for the cross towards the back post. Farley at full stretch, super ball in from Heather Payne, deep towards Farley at the back post. She managed to get something on it, but just couldn't quite generate enough power to angle it goalwards.
Yeah, and she had loads of space to actually take that on as well. She could have drove into the box herself, but instead she takes the option to just dink that little cross in. But this has been exceptional from Ireland. You know, they look free, they look like they're having fun, they look like they're enjoying themselves out on the pitch today. And you know, I'm just here thinking, if we had actually went about our game plan like we did today against Australia and Canada, could it have been a little bit different?
Meanwhile, at the other end, Nigeria threatening through Ajibade, the cross towards the back post, but it had drifted behind, and it'll be a goal kick for Courtney Brosnan. Rashida Ajibade driving down that right hand side, but the ball had gone behind before it just swung back into play. So Megan Connolly has possession for Ireland. Oops, and they've given it away once again. Ajibade, we'll see it out of play on the far side. A bit of a communications meltdown there between Katie McCabe and Megan Connolly. And of course, tiredness and weariness will be a factor for both these teams, playing their third game at the World Cup finals. It will take its toll. And Vera Pauw making the point at her press conference yesterday that Ireland are very fit, generally speaking. She was asked about the tail off in performances, notably in the second half in both games against Australia in Sydney and against Canada in Perth, and she rejected the suggestion that Ireland faded in the second half of both games. But it's been a very strong start to this match in terms of Quality of possession from Ireland, and they have it once again with Fahy. Out to Heather Payne on this right hand side. Payne with Lily Yag available, and also Denise O'Sullivan. And now it's Fahy who drives forward just inside the Nigerian half. And superbly worked by Ireland with Ciara Carusa. Sinead Farley had made a very clever run right across the edge of the penalty area to try and receive possession, but the ball goes out of play on this near side, which means it's a throw in for Ireland, who are posing most of the questions in the match so far.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that Kyra came in to drop deep to receive the ball, and Sinead made a fabulous run in behind her. It was just unfortunately intercepted. But if we keep playing like this, we'll create more chances, and it's just an exceptional start of the game for Ireland.
So it's still 0-0 here in Brisbane Stadium, a capacity of just under 50,000, but they reckon around about 22,500, certainly that was the view yesterday, would be in attendance, and a huge Irish contingent, as tends to be the case. And it's still Australia leading Canada by 1-0 in Melbourne. So as things stand, both Australia and Nigeria will progress to the round of 16, but plenty of time for Canada to try and make something of it in the other game. And of course Ireland at the moment making the early running here, albeit still stalemate. Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. Nigerians throw in. Heather Payne gets a touch to it, and Lily Yag is there to win it back for Ireland, linking up well with Denise O'Sullivan. Off to Ruesha Littlejohn inside the centre circle. Katie McCabe goes driving on down that left hand side. Littlejohn to Farrelly. McCabe, neat triangle of passes from Ireland, and now Littlejohn with the attempted cross towards the edge of the area, but well won by Ciara Carusa for Ireland. Denise O'Sullivan under pressure from Tony Payne has coughed up possession, and now Ashley Plumpter has it. The Leicester City player plays it forward to Uchenna Kanu, and Ireland get control of the ball, but Uchenna Kanu was fouled, and that means a free kick to Nigeria just inside their own half. And Lily Yag just been quietly spoken to by the referee from Mexico, Katia Garcia, and it'll be a free kick for Nigeria, just about 10 metres away from the halfway line for that challenge, following that challenge by Lily Yag. And the free kick will be taken by Ashley Plumpter, Asisa Oshwala and Tony Payne in advanced positions at the moment for Nigeria, but they work it out to the right hand side, sent on by Uchebe to Michelle Alozi, far side of the pitch. Alozi immediately off and running down that right hand side, and she gets the return pass, and she's away from Katie McCabe. Alozi with the pull back, but again superbly broken up for Ireland by Megan Connolly. And now Sinead Farley has possession. Farley forced to face her own goal under pressure on the far side of the pitch, but she does well to work it back to Littlejohn. Off to McCabe, and McCabe very calmly back to Ruesha Littlejohn, and Ruesha Littlejohn with plenty of options available, and she directs the ball cross field towards Heather Payne. Great for Heather Payne that she's managed to pass that fitness test after the hamstring injury sustained in the warm-up against Canada last week in Perth. Louise Quinn off to Megan Connolly, Ireland's left-hand side. Irish fans just a little subdued at the moment, but I think they've enjoyed what they've witnessed so far. We're in the 30th minute here, still scoreless. Ireland 0, Nigeria 0, and Fahy sending it on to Heather Payne, Ireland's right hand side. Denise O'Sullivan trying to make inroads there, but Uchebe has it back. Lily Yag also battling to win it back. Denise O'Sullivan does really well, but Uchebe manages to come out on top in that particular tussle. Sent forward by Uchebe to Oshwala, who turns into trouble. Ruesha Littlejohn doing really well to win it back straight away for Ireland. And Sinead Farley brings it forward and then just checks her run and rolls it off to Katie McCabe, Ireland's left hand side. And McCabe, the Arsenal star, driving forward and has support from Farley. Farley about 45 metres out from goal, back to Ruesha Littlejohn, who scoops the ball on to Katie McCabe out near the corner flag, far side of the pitch, and Katie McCabe, despite her best efforts, unable to keep the ball in play, and it's a goal kick which results for Nigeria. Half an hour played, just over half an hour played. Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. That's the situation in Brisbane. And Katie McCabe and Ireland have done well in the match so far. Vera Pauw watching on. Nigeria certainly feeling the Irish challenge so far, which has been very positive and on the front foot in this match. Nigeria, powerhouses of course of African football. They're playing in their 9th World Cup tournament, so they played in every single tournament to date, and they've reached the last 16, most recently in 2019. That's where their involvement came to an end, beaten by Germany at that stage of the competition. Ireland have possession back now once again with Megan Connolly halfway inside her own half. Live coverage on a Game On special on 2FM of Ireland's final group match at the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand 2023. Lovely football from Heather Payne to work the ball on in the direction of Ciara Carusa. Ireland managed to retain it. Fahy trying to send it forward but cut out by Kanu, and now it's with Tony Payne in a central position, sending it forward for Ashwala, but Irish goalkeeper Courtney Brosnan very quickly off her line to gather at the edge of the area, and she rolls it out now to Megan Connolly halfway inside the Irish half. No pressure on Megan Connolly, sends it forward to Farley. Farley almost had her pocket picked, but she worked it back to Louise Quinn, and Quinn with a short pass to Lily Agg. Agg sends it back to Nia Fahy, who has to really chase to try and keep the ball in play. Does really well, or does she? Know is the answer. The assistant on this near side had flagged that the ball had gone out of play, so it'll be a throw-in for Nigeria about halfway inside the Irish half. Ireland's right-hand side, despite the best attempts of Nia Fahy to keep the ball alive, it just rolled out of play, so it's a throw-in for Ashley Plumpter to take. She's got Kanu making a run short, but instead tries to throw it into the area. Superbly cut out for Ireland. And now Denise O'Sullivan rolls it off to Ruisha Littlejohn. On to Katie McCabe. Sinead Farley goes driving on ahead of Katie McCabe, who moves into a central position. Just checks her run under pressure from Ajibade on the far side. And now it's Sinead Farley inside the Nigerian half, halfway inside the half, trying to ride one challenge, unable to do so, and Nigeria get possession back on the far side. Michelle Alozi tosses it forward, cut out by Louise Quinn. It'll break now about 40 metres out from goal for Ciara Carusa, and the ball eventually just breaks in favour of Ireland. Headed on by Ruisha Littlejohn to Megan Connolly, and Connolly all the way back to her goalkeeper Courtney Brosnan. But again, Ireland threatening.
Yeah, they are, and that's what Lily Agg does really well. She sees the danger and she just followed up Denise and Heather, and knew that they were in trouble trying to win the ball back, and that's what she does best. She breaks up the play really well, and she does really well to retain possession.
Well, news of another goal in the match in Melbourne, and Australia have struck for a second. They lead Canada by 2-0, so Australia fair, looking set fair for a place in the last 16. Huge pressure, of course, on Tony Gustafsson and the Australian team coming into that game in Melbourne tonight. But Mary Fowler has made it 2-0. Hayley Rasso and Mary Fowler on target. No Sam Kerr, of course, in the starting 11 for Australia this evening, but they lead Canada by 2-0 in that match. And here in Brisbane, it remains all square. Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. Just over 10 minutes to go to half time. It's been a very good first half. Ireland's best chance falling the way of Katie McCabe early on, but she just pulled her shot wide of the target, and there have been one or two other openings for the Republic of Ireland in the match so far. Nigeria had a big opportunity that fell the way of Isisa Oshwala, but she drilled her shot right across the face of goal and wide off the target. Now it's going to be an Irish free kick about 10-15 metres inside the Nigerian half, Ireland's right hand side of the pitch. And Nigeria at the moment with a very high line, about 10 metres outside their own penalty area. Katie McCabe over the dead ball, so she'll swing it in with that left boot. So McCabe on set piece duties goes short, gets the return pass and clips it up towards the edge of the area. And it's a bit of a disappointing one, but Denise O'Sullivan is onto the loose ball just outside the area. Feeds it back now for McCabe to deliver the cross towards the back post. Louise Quinn amongst those waiting. Ball run across the face of goal and headed goalwards, but no power in the attempt from Ciara Carusa, and that's an easy save in the end for Chimaka Ndozi, but again promising from Ireland.
Yeah, it is. It's a well-worked free kick. Nigeria know our threats in the air with Louise Quinn, and yeah, they did really well there to just delay it and try and pick Louise Quinn out, and unfortunately Kyra just couldn't get enough power on it.
Well, Ireland trying to press forward once again, and they will through Denise O'Sullivan, just nudges the ball in the direction of Ciara Carusa, but well read by Nigeria. They get possession back. Uchenna Kanu is onto it. Heavy touch by Uchebe means that Ireland have possession once again. Denise O'Sullivan just turning into trouble, which means that Nigeria managed to get control of the ball back once again, but sloppy from them because they've given Ireland possession, and a throw in about 5 metres from the corner flag, Ireland's right hand side, and an opportunity for Heather Payne to take this throw in. Sinead Farley goes short to receive. and she just returns it to Heather Payne. Denise O'Sullivan is available if Heather Payne can pick her out, but instead Farley is the target. She goes sliding in, and the referee's assistant on this near side has awarded, well, it's going to be a goal kick. In fact, offside flag is raised, and well, just confirmation in fact that goal was chalked off for Mary Fowler, so it stays at 1-0 to Australia. Obviously it was the subject of a pretty lengthy VAR call, so that goal that we initially gave you as a Mary Fowler goal chalked off, so it's goal disallowed. So Canada still very much in that contest, but they still trail in Melbourne. It's Canada 0, Australia 1. Still goalless here in Brisbane between Ireland and Nigeria, with 38 minutes almost on the clock. Blessing DeMehin off to O'Halley, and O'Halley out to Michelle Alozzi, who is wearing one black boot and one white boot this evening. That's her nod, she says, her tribute to her childhood hero, Mario Balotelli. Now Tony Payne manages to step away from one Irish challenge. Payne now driving forward about 30 metres out from goal, trying to drill it goalwards, but really no power on it. In the end, it goes wide of Courtney Brosnan's left-hand post. But again, a threat posed there by Tony Payne as she picked up possession inside the Irish half, drove forward, but her shot really lacked any real conviction.
Yeah, it did. You know, she's extremely pacey. She stretches out a fence, and she can either run, you know, through the middle or down the flanks, and she's known for that. That's their main qualities. And yeah, we did well to kind of keep her outside, but her shot, yeah, was well wide of the post.
So Courtney Brosnan with the restart for Ireland. 7 clean sheets in 9 last year for the Republic of Ireland, helped earn her the International Player of the Year. A little less successful in that regard this year, just the 1 clean sheet in 7 so far. That was against China in that friendly back in February in Cadiz. But it has to be said, Ireland playing higher quality opposition in 2023. A couple of defeats to the United States, obviously played France as well as Australia and Canada. As Denise O'Sullivan tosses the ball forward, looking for the run of Heather Payne. Well, you could see what she was trying to do, but in the end it just skipped away from Heather Payne and behind for a goal kick. So Nadozi gets on with it, rolls it out to O'Halley. Now Michelle Alozzi back to Blessing DeMehin. Ayinde about 10 metres away from the halfway line, Nigeria's left-hand side. And Ayinde to O'Halley on the fringe of the centre circle, back with Ayinde on this lovely evening for football. Nigeria steered out to the left-hand side to Plumter, who tries to just nutmeg Denise O'Sullivan, but the Cork lady is wise to that. And now Lily Agg turns into trouble, one back by Oshwala, and now Ireland have it back with Nia Fahy off to Ruisha Littlejohn, and on now to Megan Connolly, Ireland's left-hand side, and Megan Connolly has possession and steers it out to Sinead Farley, and Ireland just slowing it down. Perhaps that's clever, just to retain possession of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's coming into the territory where we are most likely to concede. You know, we're vulnerable the 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after half time, and you know, it's coming up to that. So maybe, you know, that's just something that we need to do, just to kind of take the sting out of the game a little bit. But in saying that, we've progressed up the pitch. We have these interchanges with Sinead and Katie, and
well, McCabe with the cross. Nadozi comes and doesn't get there. And Nigeria eventually managed to clear their lines, but only as far as Nia Fahy. An opportunity to send it back in. Uncertain goalkeeping from Nadozi there. Here's Fahy inside the area. Back with Denise O'Sullivan, just on the right hand side of the area, but a poor touch from Denise O'Sullivan at the vital moment, and the ball rolls behind for a Nigerian goal kick. But it's been Ireland who've been the dominant side in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And Denise O'Sullivan has been absolutely unreal. You know, this is where she thrives. This is where she's, you know, our playmaker. She gets involved, she finds these pockets of space, and she brings other players into the game. She works extremely hard, and that's what she's doing today. And this is the Denise O'Sullivan that we all want to see.
Plumter for Nigeria on their left-hand side, halfway inside the Nigerian half. Back now with Blessing DeMehin, who'll send it on for O'Halley, and O'Halley has support available through Uchebe and Tony Payne through the middle. Asisa Oshwala offering as a central striker to receive the pass, but instead Nigeria recycle the ball once again, and now O'Halley will pump it over the top, inviting the run of Kanu. And Heather Payne has to be very, very careful. Uchenna Kanu is onto it, but a bad touch from her means the ball goes out of play. I'm a little loath to tell you that Australia are 2-0 up now on Canada. Hayley Rasso, but obviously we'll enter the caveat there may yet be a VAR call on that, but as things stand, Australia lead by 2-0 in that game. And Ireland with a throw in to be taken by Heather Payne about 10 metres from the corner flag on Ireland's right hand side, sending it down the line. Good battling there by Lily Agg, but in the end the ball goes out of play off Agg, so that means another Nigerian throw in to be taken by Ashley Plumter. And Plumter just looking to see the options that might be available. Tony Payne is there to support, and Payne receives and now trying to just backheel her way out of trouble, but superbly won back by Nia Fahy for Ireland. But Plumter has it once again. Plumter, well, the ball went out of play, so it'll be another Irish throw-in to be taken by Heather Payne, who like several of the players on the Irish team and indeed Irish setup, we mentioned Megan Connolly will be looking for a new club. So too Heather Payne. She's completed her studies at Florida State University, so she'll be on the lookout. You have to imagine there'll be no shortage of clubs lining up to snap up Heather Payne.
Yeah, of course. She's absolutely quality. You know, she's a box-to-box player, and I think that's what teams are looking for. And like Megan and Rusha as well, looking for clubs. You know, it's not a comfortable position to be in, but they've played every minute in the World Cup, and you know, having that over the last number of weeks is incredible. And I have no doubt that there'll be many clubs knocking on their doors.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Megan Connolly, Rusha Littlejohn also on the lookout for a club, and so too Lily Agg. And Nigeria have got themselves a corner kick here as we edge towards half time, and it's Tony Payne to take it as she hangs it up, and Brosnan does really well in a very crowded area to get a fist to it. Denise O'Sullivan trying to work it clear. Ball sent back up towards the edge of the Irish area, and now it's with Kanu, who feeds it wide for Payne, and Payne just outside the Irish area, inside the area now, trying to drill it in, but firmly defended by Ireland. Solid defending by the Republic of Ireland. Payne to send it back in. Brosnan under pressure, but deals with the pressure so confidently. Brilliant from Courtney Brosnan.
Yeah, it is, and this is just her one of her best qualities, you know, retrieving the ball in the air and just dominating her box and keeping her eye on the ball. And she did really well to, you know, keep her eye on the ball, because she had the likes of Oshuala coming in on top of her.
Well, it's been a very confident first half display from Vera Pauw's Ireland. And Vera Pauw in her technical area, just checking the watch, which will tell her we're in the 45th minute here at Brisbane Stadium, as Courtney Brosnan sends it long downfield in the direction of Sinead Farley, but Nigeria have it back. Megan Connolly sliding it forward to Rusha Littlejohn, a bit of a scruffy back pass in the direction of Nia Fahy, and now Courtney Brosnan has it once again for Ireland, and she feeds it out to Megan Connolly just outside the Irish penalty area. We'll bring you news of the additional time to be played very, very shortly. Connolly once again. Well, there'll be no additional time added on at the end of 45 minutes. Well, it's been a really impressive display by the Republic of Ireland. The trouble is, it's just 0-0.
It is, and you know, what an extremely positive first half. I think I said this against Canada, that was my favourite performance, but I think the way that they're playing and the football that they're playing, and they're moving and interchanging and trying to get on the ball and trying to create something, and they look like they're enjoying it. I know there's no goals got into the back of the net, but they can be really, really proud of that performance.
Yep, any suggestions that Ireland would just turn up and roll over? Not the case at all. They've been on their front foot for most of the first half, but at the break it's all square in Brisbane. It's Ireland 0, Nigeria 0.
Thanks, Claire and Adrian. Yeah, it has been a very entertaining first half, and I think that's what we wanted to see from this Ireland team, Alan Cawley. We wanted them to play on the front foot, show that they want to go after that result, and positivity all round, really. Yeah, they've played really well, Marie. A follow-on, I suppose, from the two performances that we've seen already in terms of giving a good account to themselves. But what's been different this time, as you say, is that the shackles almost feel like they've been off, and they're playing with a freedom, going out, obviously trying to play through the thirds, express themselves. We asked, I suppose, for
one of our preferences was that Denise would be higher up the pitch. We've seen that tonight. She's been far more involved on the ball a lot more, showing exactly what she's capable of. Katie has tried to get involved centrally at times as well, and there's been good fluidity between them, I suppose, in those midfield areas. So overall I think it's been a good half as well. Couple of half chances. Carusa, one down the right that she tried to pull back, she maybe could have got a shot off, and one then a glancing header. Again, it was only a half chance, but overall I think it's been a really good performance.
Yeah, Nigeria did have that really good early chance, a mistake from Louise Quinn, an uncharacteristic mistake it is worth saying, but she managed to show what pace she still does have as well, and get back and put Schwal off there, who ended up putting it wide. But when Nigeria do get into those areas and there is space at the back, they look like they could score, Rebecca.
Yeah, they're quite threatening. I think we got lucky with a lot of their finishes haven't been too clinical. Unlike previous games, the likes of Tony Payne in the centre of midfield there for them has been really direct, really skillful, obviously, and pacey going at us. Lowsey down the right as well has taken Connolly on a few times and got a few crosses in. But look, it's just been unforced errors from ourselves, that have given those chances to Nigeria. We do look a lot more, I suppose, on it today. As Alan already said, it's a bit of a freedom about us. We're playing with a bit less fear, I suppose, less pressure than the previous games. But look, overall a decent enough half.
I was wondering, would they be fearful that if they don't go out and start playing football, that Katie would get after them? Because at times there she did look like she was getting on the case of some of her teammates. But look, that's one of the good things about her all.
Yeah, that's demands that she puts on the others, and she's the captain, the leader, if you like, Marie. So it's up to her to put those demands on players, and we've seen her gesturing a couple of times, obviously, that she wants things just to be maybe moved a little bit quicker. And the one thing for me as well, and it often happens in situations like where there's the uncertainty around the manager and the players obviously feeling a bit on the heat as well in terms of the question, but when it comes to the games, it's almost as if they just take it upon themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if Katie maybe had a chat with the girls and said, you know what, we just go out and enjoy this game ourselves, show what we can do, show what we're capable of. Not so much undermine the manager and go against her, but just more so from the fact that they've been playing 2 games against really stiff opposition where they felt as though they've been penned in for large spells, whereas now is their chance. Even though Nigeria are a good team and obviously have a brilliant chance themselves of qualifying, it's almost a case that they've just gone out and thought we'll just it's our final swan song at the World Cup and show people what we're capable of. And I think that's been the case, because there's been a lot of good passages of playing out from the back, in through midfield on up into kind of the final third as well, and that's what we want to see. And I suppose if we are talking about a potential last game for Vera or a new manager coming in, I suppose that's the next progression for this team and the girls, is that we all know we can defend deep. It's can we play in those kind of attacking areas where we can maybe create more chances and score a few more goals.
Yeah, and seeing the combinations as well, and there's been some good play between Katie and Denise, and that's probably play that we've been used to seeing in the past as well, Rebecca.
Yeah, I think we all knew the potential that we had. The likes of Katie and Denise, obviously Denise playing higher up the park now as well, just gives us that other outlet, and a different dynamic to show that, look, we have got a bit of attacking prowess about us. Obviously Lily Agg in centre midfield has come in and done a job. She's got a great engine on her. She's looking to press all the time, and it just kind of frees up Rusha Littlejohn, who's just sweeping up in behind then, which is what you want from that whole midfielder. So
it's a good point, Rebecca. Sorry, just about Lily Agg, you're dead right, because Lily's another one that could probably feel a little bit hard done by, in the sense that, and again, it's another option to, I suppose, back up our slight criticism. As I mentioned in the previous couple of games, the only criticism I have is obviously Katie's position and Denise. And again, it's been enforced today with the fact that Lily's come in, has that energy, has that power, as Rebecca said, doesn't look out of place, and it frees up Denise further up the pitch.
Yeah, and it looks like there's less kind of reliance on Katie to do everything. You know what I mean? We've got a lot more players involved now as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it looks more balanced, and look, maybe that's a combination as well, Alan, that they potentially should have went, or possibly should have went for in the beginning, and the positioning of that midfield box as well.
100%, yeah. And as I said, Vera deserves a certain amount of respect for the fact that she got there, and that's why I haven't been critical in that regard, obviously, around the uncertainty around the contract situation. But the gripe that I have is that she's played Denise in a position where I wouldn't have Denise at all. Denise is probably our best technical player along with Katie, and you want her higher up the pitch. Again, if it goes back to the argument and the debate around how we're going to score a goal or how we're going to create a chance, you won't create any chances if you have Denise O'Sullivan sitting on the halfway line protecting the back four when she should be higher up the pitch to play those little slide route passes, or that she's really clever and that she's good at. So it just backs up the opinion, I think, in the sense that you have Lily there or Jamie Fain or whoever you like to throw into the argument that there is players capable. Megan Connolly is the obvious one, and she's dropped back to centre half, that she should be playing there alongside Ruisha Littlejohn. So we do have players that are capable of playing that position and have done in the past to free up Denise. Tonight we freed her up. It's just, I would have loved to have seen it in the previous two games.
That's trust though, isn't it? It's just having a little bit of trust in your players. I think everyone looks at Denise and Katie as being the be all and end all, you know, but there is girls that have earned their right to be there as well, you know, that are maybe sitting on the bench or some left at home sadly, you know, that can do that job in there, and they've shown that today already.
Alan, what about our final ball, the chances that Ireland have created and really are only half chances?
Yeah, a couple of half chances, as you see. Marie Carusa getting on the end of a header that we mentioned. Again, she showed up quite well in the game. There was one that was played down the side to her, probably a tight angle. She looked to pull it back and there was just too many bodies. But again, that's the that's the transformation, or I suppose the progression that we're looking for this team. We all know how good they are defensively. It's just getting in those areas, those positions where we can create some more chances and try and score a few goals, Marie.
Yeah, it's the age-old problem, isn't it, really? Just finding somebody that can score those goals. If it isn't from a set piece, if it isn't Louise Quinn coming up or Katie McCabe bending a corner into the net. But from the bench that we're looking at, Al, and you know, when does sentiment come into it? If there's some players, it's going to be their last appearances at a World Cup. Do you think that she should make changes? Do you think she should give minutes to some of the servants on this Ireland team?
Yeah, it's hard to know, Marie. Right now at this moment in time, I would carry on with how it's going, and still, because we're very much in the game and actually looking probably slightly more threatening. I would agree with Rebecca in the sense that Nigeria's threat have come from a couple of mistakes from us, obviously the pass out from Louise, but other than that they haven't really created anything clear cut. So we're still very much in this game with a massive opportunity of still picking up 3 points. So as I say, there's no room for sentiment really, unfortunately, Marie. But the longer it goes, and obviously a couple of the girls that we mentioned, and one of them is Diane Caldwell, who looks like she might be calling it a day, I would be inclined to give her maybe 5 or 10 minutes towards the end, even if it's 0-0 or 1-0 or we're winning, losing, because she's been such a good servant over the years. Even Anya, you could throw into the mix there now. Anya got her minutes, so she has played, but definitely out of the ones that are on the bench who are looking like potentially calling it a day, I would give Diane a few minutes if that was the case.
And look at the opposite end of the scale as well. It's the young players, because the future is the young players, and those more senior experienced internationals have to pass that baton at some stage. And you know, we want a solid squad heading into qualification for the Euros and the World Cups that are to come. Do they need to get experience at major tournaments to be able to keep getting to major tournaments?
Yeah, well, I think even just being there, you know, the likes of Abby and Izzy being a part of the group that are out there at the minute, you know, experiencing the training, the kind of the stadium that they're in today, you know, all those kind of things they'll have to bring home to the youth back here in Ireland to say, look girls, this is what we can go and do. And you know, it's an amazing feeling, I suppose. I just don't, you know, in terms of substitutions, I think the last game we made rash substitution at half time, you know, and it kind of changed the game. We could have just stayed as we were for, you know, the 15 minutes of the second half, you know, with leaving Lucy Quinn in there and going for it. But yeah, look, as I said, the girls that are out there now, they've experienced that, I think. It would be obviously great to see a few more names come in and come on throughout the game, but we'll see how that plays out hopefully towards the end.
Yeah, and Al, just from what you've seen now, do you think that Ireland are going to be able to keep building on that in the second half? And ultimately, like, are we looking to Kira Carusa to score goals, and is she the only one? Is she the answer really to that problem?
Yeah, I think from what we've seen in the first half, they can take great heart again and confidence from that performance. It's been very, very good. They'll be sitting in the dressing room at half time now, and I'm sure Vera's saying more of the same, and the girls will know themselves that they've played quite well, and they've obviously passed it around quite well, and they'll be looking, as I say, to carry that on in terms of trying to create more chances and get further up the pitch. Is Carusa the answer? I think, to be fair to her, there's always been a question mark around us having that kind of top class number 9. A lot of the countries have it, and they're the difference maker. We don't have it right now at this moment in time. Amber's been more of an impact sub, so Vera doesn't have full trust in her. That's why she's brought Carusa in and almost kind of changed the way we've played, because they're two different players. I think Amber will come on probably in the second half again if it's in the balance like it is, and be that impact again, and potentially she might be the one to score the goal. But I think Caruso will carry on for now. And you see her there, she was getting a little bit frustrated because she probably feels as though herself the responsibility is on her, as is all centre forwards, to get the goals, and that can kind of play on your mind a bit too much as well, because you start snatching at things or trying too hard. So I think, to be fair to her, she showed up well in the games, Marie. I thought against Canada she did very well. She probably got taken off too early against Canada because she was doing really, really well.
Yeah. She gave, I think, their centre halves, probably the worst games of their lives. Buchanan came off at half time, and she's quite a player. She's very established in the game and made her look extremely ordinary, as well as Guild. So look, I think she's brought great elements to her game. Her hold-up play is fantastic. She's done everything I think a lone 9 could do in that last game against Canada.
But is she? That's the question. She's not prolific or clinical at the.
She could just add goals to her game.
But Marie, like, how many centre forwards in the world are not clinical and not prolific, and it's the hardest position really. Getting the goals, because all that responsibility is on you,
and especially the way we set up as well. Look, a lot of how the second half plays out could come down to the way that Nigeria approach it. Canada are trailing Australia 2-0. Australian goals both coming from Hayley Rasso. Mary Fowler did have the ball in the net as well, but that was ruled off. So Australia getting the job done, and the pressure in a way is on Nigeria to try and get that draw or win.
Yeah, absolutely, because the way that game, and they'll be fully aware of that. Obviously they're paying close attention to what's going on in the other game. Australia are doing them the favour as well in terms of what they need, so a draw will put Nigeria through, and that might feed into their mindset and just be happy to sit in, which will allow us more of the ball, maybe again higher up the pitch to create a chance. And then the pressure comes on to them, I suppose, Marie, in the sense that the obviously they'll start to feel nervous, they'll start to feel tense, and that could absolutely help us, but it might hinder them and their chances, because the last thing you want to do is go out with a mindset playing for a draw or sitting in deep, because that's when you come a cropper.
Especially when you have a player like Oshwala in your squad, like to have the ability that she has and not go after a game isn't probably something that would be in a game plan.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, there's a lot that rides on her shoulders. She obviously didn't. She came on the last game and got that goal to seal it for them to do so well in the group. So look, it's a case that everyone else needs to rally around her now, and be the provider, I suppose, for her to maybe get that finish. We're obviously hoping that's not the case, but yeah, there's a lot of pressure on her shoulders, let's just say.
So how's this going to play out now for the next 45?
Yeah, I'm hopeful, Marie, I really am. I thought the first half was very good, and as I said, the fact that Nigeria now will know exactly what's happening, they might just be happy to sit in, which will help us, because I never think that's a good move. When you're happy to sit in somewhere or settle for what you have, you're inviting pressure onto you, and it's normally when you come unstuck. So I think from our perspective, that's a good thing. Just want to see more of the same. I hope the first half will give them lots of confidence, and we'd love to see a goal. We'd love to see them come home with the 3 points, Marie. I think they've done really well in the 2 games, I have to say, and it would be such a shame if they come home kind of on a sour note or on a downer. It seems to be that way off the pitch. I'd love for them on the pitch to maybe get a goal and get 3 points and come home with a win.
Yeah, because it seems like they're enjoying themselves out there.
But that's what you're saying. There's a sense of freedom about them, very fearless in their approach to the game, which is what we've all been crying out for, So yeah, look, hopefully we get a goal there and see us out with the 3 points. They more so deserve it than anything.
Yeah, I think we'd be all very happy with that here in studio.
We've been very positive all along, haven't we?
Let's see how positive they are in Brisbane and rejoin Claire and Adrian.
Well, we're pretty confident, or pretty positive, I think. Are we, Claire?
Yeah, we sure are. I loved that first half performance. All we were missing was a goal, and that's the game changer today. We're going to need to get that ball into that back of the net fast.
Well, let's just hope. Let's just hope for the second half. The team's back out, and it'll be Ireland in the second half to get us underway, playing from right to left as we look out. And that huge Irish contingent of supporters that have followed the team, and many of them have followed them not just to Sydney but all the way to Perth in Western Australia, which is a 5-hour plane journey, and then on to Brisbane as well. They've really been absolutely magnificent ambassadors once again, as the referee sounds the whistle and away we go for the second half. The first half dominated by Ireland. Katie McCabe with that big chance, Ciara Carusa with that one attempt on target, albeit a tame header. But at the other end, the warnings there for Ireland as well. Louise Quinn gifting possession to Nigeria, and Ireland almost paid the ultimate price with Asisat Oshwala in on goal. and a player of her quality, you'd have expected her to find the back of the net, but she flashed her shot right across the face of goal. Now Nigeria trying to play at a higher tempo, one would imagine, in the second half, but as Alan mentioned there, a draw will be enough for them. Here's Ajibade at the byline, delivers the cross, and the header from Louise Quinn goes behind for a corner kick. It was one of those headers that could quite easily have ended up in the back of her own net, but she dived and made the defensive header, and it's a corner kick for Nigeria. And an early statement from Randy Waldrom's side as they seek the breakthrough here. Certainly a lead goal for Nigeria would be the manager resting rather more comfortably on his seat in the technical area. But they've got this corner kick to be taken by Tony Payne, 2nd minute of the second half, and it's hung up towards the near post. In fact, it goes nowhere near the near post. It drifts out of play and into the side netting, and that's a really disappointing set piece from Tony Payne from that situation for Nigeria. So more of the same, I guess, from the Republic of Ireland. Just keep it going and try and force more openings and more clear-cut opportunities. I guess that has to be the goal for Vera Pauw's Ireland in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. I think if we just keep the possession going and keep building through the thirds and trying to find Denise and Kyra in those positions, and I think a goal is coming for us. We just need to be patient, and these next 5-10 minutes are really crucial for us.
Well, here come Nigeria once again with Tony Payne halfway inside the Irish half. She spins away from Risha Littlejohn, feeds it out to that wide left position. Oshwala waits inside the area. It's sent back to Uchebe, 35 metres out from goal. Sinead Farley did well just to slow down her progress, but Nigeria retained possession with Payne out to that left-hand side, and they're threatening once again, and the delivery towards the near post again hits the side netting, and that's a tame ball in from the far side from Uchenna Kanu, who nudged Nigeria in front here on Thursday night against Australia. And once again, Ireland showing their ambition by getting on with it quickly from the restart, sent forward by Megan Connolly, and on now it goes with Kira Carusa off in pursuit. O'Halley will have her work cut out as Kira Carusa battles away to try and win it back, but O'Halley was strong and just shepherds the ball behind for a goal kick. Well, Nigeria have an Irishman in their midst, part of the management setup, Kyle Quigley. He actually played for Bradford City. He was capped at youth level by Northern Ireland, and his career as a player cut short, so he went into coaching. So he's assistant to Randy Waldrom, so the man from up north will know all about the Republic of Ireland. Here's a Jibade on halfway, sends it back to Michelle Alozi, and now it's swept on by Ohala up towards halfway, brought under control by Lily Agg, who's lost out. She was just outnumbered, unable to get the ball under control, and now Tony Payne has it. Payne under pressure from Denise O'Sullivan. Superb by O'Sullivan to win it back, but then Ireland almost gifting possession back to the opposition. But Sinead Farley is on it for the Republic of Ireland, spins away from Uchebe, does really well to create space and offloads the pass to Megan Connolly, and now it's with Littlejohn just inside the Irish half, and now Lily Agg sprays it out to Ireland's right hand side, and Heather Payne getting forward, still progressing, but Nigeria have managed to close off that avenue of approach. The ball is laid forward by Nigeria up towards halfway to Oshwala. Payne onto it for the Nigerians, and now they work it out to this right hand side, and you get a sense they're going to show a little more adventure perhaps in the second half. Nigeria, that's a clever ball by Alozi, but not quite on the same wavelength as Rashida Ajibade, and Ireland have it back with Courtney Brosnan, and they start to build it up once again. 0-0 early stages of the second half in Brisbane. Ireland the better side in the first half. That super opportunity that fell the way of Katie McCabe early on, but she just dragged her left-footed attempt from inside the area wide of the target. But it must be noted that Oshwale spurned a terrific opportunity to give the African side the lead when she drilled her shot right across the face of goal and wide. Well, Ireland looking for a free kick on the far side. The ball is worked down in the direction of Oshwale. It's superbly knocked out of play by the tireless workhorse that is Louise Quinn, but she has just picked up a knock in the process, and Heather Payne also looks to be in a bit of bother as well. So two Irish players. Heather Payne again looking rather tearful, and she's clearly back on her feet, and I think she'll try to run it off, will she?
Yeah, she will. I think she just got studded. Someone stepped on her toes. I think she'll just run it off. She'll hopefully be over it in the next 5 minutes.
In the 6th minute of the second half, Ireland 0, Nigeria 0, and Nigeria have possession with Blessing DeMehen into the centre circle and sent on by O'Halley. to Nigeria's right-hand side for Michelle Alozie. Michelle Alozie, the American, playing at right back. She was at the press conference yesterday with Randy Waldrum. Very bright and cheerful and intelligent defender for Nigeria, who threw her lot in, and Randy Waldrum was saying he was absolutely delighted. He was scouting for players, and she came on his radar, and she has proven to be a superb acquisition for Nigeria. Here's Christy Uchebe, almost had her pass read there by Denise O'Sullivan for Ireland, but it's Nigeria who have it once again. They're getting a lot more of the ball in the second half and dominating possession. Plumped her forward down that left hand side for Uchenna Kanu, slipping it in behind. Tony Payne at the byline, away from Louise Quinn. Still Tony Payne. Nigeria threatening once again on the angle of the area. The cross is delivered towards the back post, and it's headed goalwards, and somehow it stays out. Courtney Brosnan got something on it, but it stays at 0-0. Well, that was a fascinating one. I think some people thought it may have crossed the line. Big opportunity for Nigeria. Now this will be checked. So then the cross from the byline. Well, Tony Payne worked her way back into a central position with Uchenna Kanu at the header, and Courtney Brosnan did really well just to push the ball up onto the crossbar. It could so easily have gone in. Big moment of the game, but Nigeria threatening once again. Oshwala with the effort right across the face of goal, and goal kick is the decision.
They're absolutely pulling us apart here. You know, that's two opportunities in the box, in the goal, that they've created space and pulled away from our players, and you know, that was some save from Courtney Brosnan. But we need to try and get a hold of this game. We need to take control back.
Yep. Chances coming thick and fast. Clearly Randy Waldrum had a lot to say to his team at half time. They've upped the intensity in the second period. Courtney Brosnan has an issue at the moment. Nia Fahy is beside her. The referee, I think, is suggesting Courtney Brosnan may have to go off the field of play if the treatment is prolonged. But in any event, the medical team are dashing on to see to Courtney Brosnan, and it's probably welcome respite for Ireland, because some of the players have, in fact most of the players have come across to this near side just to catch a breather and maybe get some liquids on board. But a big chance for Nigeria with that Uchenna Kanu header, and Brosnan just parried the ball up onto the crossbar, but it could so easily have ended up in the back of the Irish net. And certainly the warning signs there for the Republic of Ireland. I'd take a little trip to Dailyman Park if the gang are listening in to see what they're making of it there, Marie.
Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, I think we were off our seats there, and we were a little bit worried, but let off for Ireland, Alan.
Yeah, they've certainly improved the intensity. Nigerian coming on a little bit strong now, obviously, at the start of the second half, and we thought maybe with the result going the other way for them in the other game that they might be happy to sit in, but anything but. And that was a really brilliant save from Courtney Brosnan. She's obviously down at the moment, so there's a little bit of a concern, but it was a brilliant save to just divert it onto the crossbar and a let off for us.
Rebecca?
Yeah, looked like maybe it might have been a bit of a tactical stoppage there as well. Get the girls in and have a chat just to take a bit of the sting out of the Nigerian attack, because they were coming at us there thick and fast, but thankfully she made a great save to tip it onto the bar.
Okay, back to you, Adrian.
Okay, and away we go. Courtney Brosnan back on her feet, thankfully, and the Irish players have got liquids on board. 10 minutes into the second half, but they've taken this game by the scruff of the neck as they try to get the goal that would help secure perhaps all 3 points and nail in top spot in the group. Obviously at the moment Australia still leading thanks to 2 goals for Hayley Rasso. They lead Canada by 2-0 in the other group game, which has been played simultaneously in Melbourne. Nia Fahy out to Ireland's right hand side, but again asking too much of that really heavy pass from Nia Fahy, this time asking too much of Heather Payne, who chased to try and keep the ball alive, but it went out of play on the far side, which means it's a throw in for Ashley Plumter to take for Nigeria, and she sends it back to Demehin, a Demehin square now for O'Hale. Losey available on Nigeria's right hand side, but instead O'Hale sends it back to Demehin, who heads up towards halfway. Ciara Carusa just tracking left and right, trying to close down the opposing defenders. And now it's knocked forward but cut out by Megan Connolly for Ireland. Sinead Farley with a lovely cushioned layoff. And now it's It's drilled forward by Katie McCabe towards Ciara Carusa, who's a little isolated at the moment. Alozi wins it back. The ball breaks in the centre of midfield. Lucia Littlejohn battling to win it back. Sinead Farley goes to ground, and Ireland get themselves a free kick about 15 metres inside the Nigerian half. Alozi and Tony Payne there, and referee is just going to have a word here, I suspect, with Uchebe. Uchebe's just been guided away from the ball, and the referee has to take control of the situation. It will be a free kick for Ireland, and this is where we want to see Ireland after all that pressure from Nigeria in the second half. A set piece here. It's about 15 metres inside the Nigerian half, Ireland's left hand side, and about 5 metres in from the sideline. Katie McCabe and Megan Connolly over the dead ball. Louise Quinn pressed into the forward division here. Sinead Farley down the line from Katie McCabe and Megan Connolly if they decide to try a variation. Ole ole rings out from the Irish fans as the free kick is swung in, and up they go. The ball runs loose inside the area, and Ashley Plumter in the end clears for Nigeria up as far as Oshwale. Oshwale now on the break. Ireland trying to funnel bodies back towards their own goal, and in the end the referee just inadvertently got in the way, and the ball just came off the match official. So Nigeria will get the restart here. Well, they were on the move there, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and it's actually mad. I find it fascinating here. There's a massive pitch and the ref always seems to get in the way.
Here's Farley for Ireland after the restart. Well, they've gifted possession back once again, Ireland. Tony Payne has it about 15 metres inside the Irish half on the Nigerian right hand side, and now Ayinde, and you can really sense that they're upping the tempo, moving the ball a lot quicker now in the second period. Nigeria, Ajibade in the wide left position, but moving into a more central position, off to Alozi on Nigeria's right hand side. Not too many Nigerian spectators in Brisbane for the match, but there are certainly a few, and they're making a bit of noise at the moment. Alozi trying to weave her way through, but well defended by Sinead Farley, and she gets herself a free kick, and you're applauding that.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been outstanding today. Her composure has been really needed in this team. You know, anytime she gets the ball, she looks up. She's quick feet, she's skillful, she can find a pass, and yeah, she did really well to retain the ball.
And Ireland with the ball on the right hand side with Fahy, and she gets the return past the Galway woman. Of course, there'll be a lot of speculation over the future careers of some of these Irish players given their ages, but Niamh Fahy, at 35 years of age, she has given so much service to the Republic of Ireland. She sends it long, but it's rather aimless because Ciara Carusa had dropped short. Nadozi has it for Nigeria, and the balance of this game has shifted in favour of Nigeria.
Yeah, it has. They've definitely, stepped it up a gear. They've pushed up the pitch. They're trying to progress into the final third, and as we can see here, it's all four attacking players are right up against our defence. So yeah, they're definitely looking to go after it. In the first half we thought they were maybe settling for a draw, but with the result of the other game and Australia being 2 up, it looks like they're probably going to go to it to try and secure. We just need to do well to keep them out and match their energy.
Good work by De Mehin to feed it forward, and now it's with Alozi to deliver the cross. Courtney Brosnan eventually will gather. The ball bounces into her gloves, and Brosnan collects just inside her own penalty area, and she rolls it short off to Niamh Fahy with Heather Payne available on Ireland's right hand side. Denise O'Sullivan further forward. That's a clever ball and clever space occupied by Denise O'Sullivan under pressure from Ayinde. She works it back now to Louise Quinn. Now Ruisha Littlejohn. Littlejohn out to Ireland's right hand side, but it's a misplaced pass, crossfield ball, and Nigeria have it back once again with Ayinde just inside her own half, and she checks and turns and spins and offloads the pass to Nigeria's right hand side, and it's sent forward by O'Hale, cut out by Megan Connolly. And Ireland all in white with the green numbering. Drive forward down this left hand side with Katie McCabe under pressure from Uchenna Kanu. Still Katie McCabe. Uchebe brings her run to a halt, and nothing illegal about the challenge, and the Nigerians have it back once again with Uchenna Kanu. And now Uchebe feeds it forward for Oshwale, and Oshwale with a bit of a heavy touch, and Ruisha Littlejohn again arriving on the scene to win possession back for Ireland, and Lily Agg steers the ball all the way back to Courtney Brosnan.
Yeah, Ruisha's definitely my standout player in the last 3 games, and today, or the last 2 games, and today she's been exceptional. She's just the workhorse of this team, and yeah, you know, she's just done really, really well. She does all the dirty work. She sweeps just in front of the defence, and yeah, she did extremely well to retain possession again. You know, she's really coming out of herself in terms of breaking into this starting 11. She's just been really unlucky with injuries throughout the season, so I'm delighted for her over the course of the last few weeks.
Nia Fahy has possession for Ireland on the far side of the pitch. Irish fans here in big numbers. That's a really good ball to pick out Denise O'Sullivan, and she slides it square now for Sinead Farley. Katie McCabe all free and alone on this near side, but it was well read by Michelle Alozi, who got there and knocks the ball out of play. It'll be an Irish throw-in halfway inside the Nigerian half to be taken by Katie McCabe, and Ireland appear to have weathered that early second half onslaught from Nigeria and have just played their way back into the game past the hour mark in Brisbane. Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. And now Ciara Carusa on the turn. Here's Denise O'Sullivan, big chance, blocked away by Plumter, and it's gathered in the end by Nadozi. Well, what a chance that was for the Republic of Ireland inside the penalty area. And Heather Payne unable to get on the loose ball. Denise O'Sullivan with a shot which was blocked down, and Heather Payne almost onto it.
Oh yeah, her first touch, Denise O'Sullivan's first touch was outstanding. The Nigerian player just really, really read that well and just came out just in time to get in the way of it. And yeah, Heather, the goalkeeper, came out to retrieve it, and unfortunately Heather wasn't a little bit quicker on that.
So then 17 minutes played in the second half. Ireland 0, Nigeria 0, but Ireland not without their shouts in this match. Katie McCabe notably in the first half, and Denise O'Sullivan just there. Ireland with some defending to do, and it's worked back by the ever-willing, hard-working Ruisha Littlejohn. And we mentioned that Ruisha Littlejohn is moving on from Aston Villa unattached, and she, as you say, has certainly put herself in the shop window with her performances here in Australia. She's on it once again. Offloads it now to Louise Quinn, and that's a really good out ball to pick out Sinead Farley, and Farley spins away from Michelle Alozi, works it back to Katie McCabe, and McCabe trying to dictate for Ireland, sends it back to Louise Quinn just outside the Irish penalty area, off to Nia Fahy, Ireland's right hand side. And now Heather Payne getting involved. Denise O'Sullivan just canters forward under pressure here. Denise O'Sullivan, and she has lost out, and Ayinde, who has possession, Ayinde has lost out to Denise O'Sullivan, and the woman from Knocknaheeny in Cork City is guilty of the infringement, and Nigeria get the call from the match official.
Yeah, Denise does really well here to just harass her and get onto her. You know, that's what she does. She just harasses people, and yeah, unfortunately she just clipped her, and yeah, it was a free out, but Denise is known for that. She's known for harassing.
So this game is nicely balanced at the moment. No goals so far between Republic of Ireland and Nigeria. Much more even second half, with Nigeria coming more and more into the match. Here's Tony Payne, and Payne sends it down the line for the run of Uchenna Kanu. Megan Connolly in a foot race. Kanu has it, trying to work it on to her left hand side and deliver the cross. Manages to get it in. Nia Fahy with a header away, only as far as Ashley Plumter, just outside the area on Ireland's right hand side. Nigeria's left. Plumter sends it back. Ajibade back to Ayinde, and on now for Uchebe. Out to Nigeria's right hand side from Michelle Alozi. Alozi faced by Katie McCabe. Ayinde and Uchibade under pressure. Katie McCabe trying to work it back, and Megan Connolly will unceremoniously send it downfield in the direction of Carusa, but Nigeria have it back once again with Michelle Alozi off to Uchebe just inside the Irish half, and she just slows it down just to take the sting out of the game, and squares it now for Blessing de Mehen off to Ashley Plumter on Nigeria's left hand side. In the 65th minute, Nigeria and the Republic of Ireland goalless in Brisbane. Michelle Alozi has possession just on halfway. Uchenna Kanu, she got herself into a bit of a muddle, and Katie McCabe comes away with it for the Republic of Ireland, drifts into a central position and feeds it out towards Heather Payne, but well intercepted by Ashley Plumter. And now Nigeria on the counter-attack. Ashwala off in pursuit, and Courtney Brosnan gets there first. Brilliant from Brosnan once again. Very decisive from Courtney Brosnan. out in the nick of time to avert the danger for the Republic of Ireland. Mary Fowler has got on the score sheet, and again we'll say subject to VAR, of course. So Australia heading for the last 16, leading by 3-0 now in Melbourne against Canada. And as things stand, Nigeria will go through and Canada will go out. Nigeria will want to try and top the group, that's for sure, but in order to do so they have to try and win here. A draw will be enough to see them into the last 16. The referee is having a word with Rashida Ajibade after a challenge, and Nia Fahy has taken the free kick for Ireland. Ajibade with a challenge on Heather Payne, but Ireland getting on with it. Connolly steers it out now to Katie McCabe, Ireland's left hand side, and she tries to chop infield. Kanu had it, but Kanu with the foul, and there's going to be, in fact it was Katie McCabe with the foul, I beg your pardon, and it's going to be a free kick for Nigeria right about halfway. And now a double change being made by Nigeria, and Oshwala is going off. So Oshwala, who had that great opportunity in the first half, heads off, and Surprise Monday is going to come on. So Oshwala and Etienne Kanu, the two players going off, and Gift Monday and Onomonu also coming on. So Gift Monday and Onomonu on for Nigeria. And I just wonder, is Vera Pauw perhaps beginning to think of making a change or two? We shall have to see, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I think fresh legs might be needed going forward. I think Abby Larkin would be a good call. Running in behind and making, those threats. I think it's a little bit stale at the moment. I think we're in need of a little bit of fresh legs, and Katie really needs to be careful here.
A foul on Tony Payne, which is going to result in a free kick for Nigeria, about 30 metres out from goal, slightly to the right. So Katie McCabe needs to be careful. By the way, the official attendance here given as 24,884, and there's a yellow card for Katie McCabe, who picked up a yellow card after the game in Perth. So she will miss Ireland's next World Cup qualifying match as a result of that challenge, I'd say lazy challenge from Katie McCabe. Perhaps she knew what she was doing, but in any event, Tony Payne upended, and it's a free kick. So McCabe picks up yellow in this match. So free kick for Nigeria, which Tony Payne will deliver. Ireland have set up a two-player wall right in front of Tony Payne, but obviously back the requisite distance, and 4 in the dark colours of Nigeria towards the back post, right on the edge of the area. Courtney Brosnan, a metre or so off her line. Well, they went short with it, and it might work out. And Brosnan off her line to collect inside the 6-yard box. It was a cleverly worked move. Ajibade almost on the end of it, but it was a variation. We expected the free kick to be swung in, but they rolled it short and tried to engineer it. But Ajibade just losing out in the race for possession, and Brosnan down to collect. Heather Payne on the far side works it forward to Denise O'Sullivan, now back with Nia Fahy, and Nia Fahy just takes a touch or two and rolls it back. No options further forward, so she goes back to Courtney Brosnan, who takes a touch or two before eventually offloading. And now Nia Fahy will drive up towards the halfway line, out to Heather Payne, Ireland's right hand side, checks away from Ajibade, and back with Nia Fahy. Luisha Littlejohn trying to make herself available inside the centre circle. Ball is stinked forward but cut out by Ashley Plumter for Nigeria. Ajibade back to Plumter, just a little shy of halfway. All very tight on the far side of the pitch, but Nigeria doing really well to control possession. Ball fed out to Alozie, and Alozie steps away from Katie McCabe, who really had to be very careful that she didn't mistime the challenge, otherwise she could have picked up a second yellow card. Meanwhile, Tony Payne drives inside the area and pulls it back. Nia Fahy is there, and Courtney Brosnan, has she managed to prevent the corner? Well, it'll be a throw-in on this near side, right beside the corner flag, but again, danger for Ireland as Nigeria almost in on goal. Well, they're offering more of a threat, no doubt about it, in the second half, Nigeria. And Nia Fahy and Courtney Brosnan, well, in the end they managed to figure out the puzzle, but it is going to be a throw-in for Nigeria right beside the corner flag. Well, it is in fact a corner kick. It is in fact a corner kick. And they go short with it, and Uchebe sweeps it in. Difficult ball to deal with for Ireland, but they eventually managed to scramble it clear. And a driven shot goalwards by Alozi is blocked by Ireland, having to defend stoutly as a result of that corner kick, which was given. Initially it looked like the signal was for a throw-in, but Nigeria coming once again, cleared away by Louise Quinn up towards Kira Carusa on halfway, does well to retain possession and works it back to Lily Agg. Ireland perhaps in need of a change now, some fresh legs and some new energy just to give added impetus to what has become in the last few minutes perhaps a rearguard action, but it's Megan Connolly on it. Ireland still scoreless with Nigeria in Brisbane. Katie McCabe on it for Ireland, faced by Ijibade, and McCabe does well to pick out Louise Quinn in a central position inside the Irish half, and she heads up towards halfway. Kira Carusa takes a touch and then offloads, sent forward by Nia Fahy, cut out by Plumter. Nigeria have it back temporarily, but the ball breaks in and around the centre of midfield, and it's picked up by Tony Payne, and Payne does really well to step away from that challenge that came in. But Ireland just have their composure once again. Again, it was Ruisha Littlejohn putting in the hard yards, covering so much ground, but Nigeria have it back deep inside their own half with Demehin out to Plumter on the far side. So 27 minutes played, and it is still Ireland 0, Nigeria 0, with Australia leading against Canada by 3-0 in the other Group B game being played at the moment in Melbourne. Plumter on the left-hand side to Uchebe. Sinead Farley does really well to win possession for Ireland. Kira Caruso unable to retain possession, and the Nigerians have the ball back once again with Alozi. Nigeria's right-hand side, forward to Ejibade, and now O'Hale picks it up inside her own half and sweeps it across to the left-hand side. Plumter gets it under control, immediately closed down by Denise O'Sullivan. Nigeria controlling the ball at the moment and dictating the tempo. In the 73rd minute, O'Hale forward now as Nigeria try to fashion an opening in a central position. The ball steered out to Michelle Alozi on Nigeria's right hand side. Ajibade demanding the ball, but the cross is swung in. Nia Fahy does well under real pressure to get it away, but it's still there for Iyinde, and Iyinde just gets a foot to it, and her left-footed scuffed attempt goes well wide.
Yeah, it does. Nia Fahy did really well again there. She gauged the bounce, because that could have, easily came up and fell to a Nigerian player. So she did really well to get on the right side of her and get it clear.
In the 74th minute, and it's a restart for Courtney Brosnan. Out to Megan Connolly. And Megan Connolly steps away from one challenge and drives up towards halfway. And that's a really good ball to pick out Denise O'Sullivan, who does well to work it back to Sinead Farley. Off now to Ruisha Littlejohn inside the centre circle. On now to Ireland's right-hand side for Nia Fahy, who takes a touch. And Fahy links up again with Sinead Farley. This is promising from Ireland. Inside the final third, Heather Payne getting forward down Ireland's right-hand side. Has Nia Fahy available, rolls it back to the Galway woman. And Fahy takes a touch. And Ireland retaining possession well through Lily Agg. Now Nia Fahy trying to clip it over the top, manages to do so. Denise O'Sullivan off in pursuit, and the last touch, while they're waiting for the verdict here, O'Sullivan suggesting it should be a corner kick, and eventually that's the decision that's arrived at.
Yeah, it has, but we're doing so well to keep possession, on one side. But there needs to be someone to get it known that Katie McCabe has so much space on the left-hand side, as all the Nigerian players are pushed over to either block the cross or stop the runs that are going in behind. But if we just retrieve the ball out and switch the play as fast as we possibly could, Katie McCabe is pretty much one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Well, we have this set piece. Louise Quinn is up from the back, just over 15 minutes to go. It's an Irish corner kick. We know what happened in Perth. It's Katie McCabe from Ireland's right-hand side. Is this going to be the moment for Ireland to make the breakthrough in Brisbane? 0-0 at the moment, deadlocked. Much more about Nigeria in the second half, but it's all square at the moment. Katie McCabe just been told she has to wait because the referee has some issues to sort out inside the penalty area, but eventually the corner kick will be taken by the Irish captain, Katie McCabe. Louise Quinn waits inside the area, so too Nia Fahy. Farley on the edge of the area. It's an in-swinger, it's a real tester for the goalkeeper, and it goes behind for a goal kick. While the goalkeeper was rising, Katie McCabe almost repeated the trick of Perth.
Yeah, she did. It was like a deja vu. I thought it was just going to dip just right before the post, but unfortunately she got a little bit too much of a swing on it and went out for a goal kick.
Well, it's been a gutsy and brave performance from the girls in green, and at the moment it remains all square. Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. We're into the last quarter of an hour as the ball is sent forward by Ajibade. A well won back by Ireland, and they're on the break here now with Denise O'Sullivan. DeMehan gets a touch to it. Lily Agg is onto the loose ball, fiercely contested in and around the middle. Sinead Farley eventually will get the ball under control, under pressure from Gift Monday. She steps away from that challenge, but Nigeria have it back once again with Ajibade twisting and turning, very noticeable with her bright pink boots and also her dyed blue hair on the far side. Sinead Farley off to Heather Payne, trying to wriggle her way through, but Ajibade has it once again, and the lost touch came off the Irish player, and had a play on the far side. Sinead Farley, who's got through so much work for Ireland. She's very, very technically good, isn't she? She's so composed in possession as well.
Yeah, her first touch, she just took her first touch, out of the air, or took the ball out of the air, and her first touch was just impeccable. It just sticks to her foot. She's able to get her foot up. She's composed. She takes her time with it, and she just lays it off. And she's been doing it all game. And when we need her the most, she's able to retain the possession too. So yeah, she's an all-rounder for me. I think she's been absolutely superb today.
Well, it's O'Halley who has possession. O'Halley, who started life as a winger, now as a centre back. Ball is swung across to this right hand side, and Ireland with some defending to do with Monday. And Gift Monday rolls it back to Michelle Alozi, has options available, takes on Sinead Farley, away from Farley. Good run from Alozi, and now it's Monday. But Monday beaten to the punch once again, superbly defended by the Republic of Ireland. Under pressure, Ciara Carusa on halfway, and she spins away from trouble, holds it up really well, trying to pick out Lily Agg in the centre of midfield, but Ashley Plumpter now has it for Nigeria, drives forward. Ajibade on the fringe of the centre circle, works it back. Ayinde out to Alozi, Nigeria's right hand side, just inside their own half, and they just slow it down once again, Nigeria. Remember, of course, a draw will be sufficient for Nigeria to progress to the round of 16 as the ball is played forward. They're just trying to spring that Irish high line, just lifting the ball over the top, but Ireland managed to deal with that particular threat, and they come once again now with Heather Payne, Ireland's right hand side. Denise O'Sullivan demands the ball. She's got 3 Nigerian players close by, but she sends it back to Lily Agg. Agg goes to ground, but she was fouled, and it's an Ireland free kick just on halfway, and a rueful shake at the head from Onawonu, who's on about 5 or 6 minutes. So Onawonu not quite up to the speed of play, but guilty of the infringement, which results in an Irish free kick. Katie McCabe available on Ireland's left hand side. She's unchallenged at the moment. Eventually Ireland pick out Katie McCabe. McCabe under pressure now, she's been closed down. McCabe trying to retain control of the ball, which eventually squirts out of play. Some indecision on the part of the referee's assistant on this near side. Eventually the throw-in goes in favour of Ireland. DeMehan with a very firm challenge on Ciara Carusa, and Nigeria have it back once again. Payne gets a touch to it, and on the turn Ajibade trying to take on Nia Fahy, who does really well to get control of the ball and win it back for Ireland. And now Ashley Plumpter trying to drive forward, and again the lion-hearted Nia Fahy goes diving in and executes the challenge to perfection. Nigeria get the throw on the far side, which is taken quickly but straight to Louise Quinn. Ajibade onto that loose clearance, and they start to build and probe once again, the African side who've dominated that continent for so long. As Monday goes to ground, she was looking for a free kick, nothing new. Chibe with a shot, well, you could see what she was trying to do, left footed, trying to curl it into the top corner, but she got it all wrong. 10 minutes remaining, and it's still all square, and Vera Pauw watches on. Not too much movement going on, although there may be a change imminent. Yeah, it looks like there's some movement. You'd have to imagine Abby Larkin.
Yeah, it's Abby Larkin by the looks of it.
Here's Katie McCabe picking up possession on halfway, sending it forward now to Denise O'Sullivan, and the two stars of the Irish team, O'Sullivan and Katie McCabe, initially linked up well. Again, Nia Fahy does superbly well to win it back for Ireland. Got in the challenge, but it's the Nigerians who have it just outside their own penalty area. with Blessing DeMehan. Forward to Ajibade. Ajibade spins away. Lovely footballing technique from Ajibade. And a clever nutmeg. As Nigeria work it forward. Alozie down the line. Oh, that's clever from Monday. On to Alozie. Lucia Littlejohn tracking back. The ball is swept in. It was a terrific ball into the area, which was just crying out for somebody to get on the end of it. And it drifted all the way across to Nia Fahy. And now Heather Payne has possession, and she rolls it back to Fahy. And Fahy square now to Louise Quinn. And Quinn on to Lucia Littlejohn. And Littlejohn on to Katie McCabe on Ireland's left-hand side now. It's Megan Connolly who picks it up for Ireland at a rather pedestrian pace. Lily Agg in the centre of midfield, off to Ireland's right-hand side. To Ireland, Denise O'Sullivan is onto it, spins away. Tony Payne trying to get close. Plenty of time now for Denise O'Sullivan to spray it across to Ireland's left-hand side. Ruisha Littlejohn trying just to toe poke it on in the direction of Katie McCabe. Megan Connolly has it for Ireland. Laid off now by Littlejohn. And now McCabe to swing it in. Ciara Carusa is waiting inside the area. Nadozi gets something onto it. Heather Payne onto the loose ball, but it just didn't quite break for her. And now Ajibade on the break, but the referee has sounded her whistle. And treatment required here for the Nigerian goalkeeper, Chiamaka Nadozi. And perhaps whilst there's a brief break in play, we might head to Daleyman Park and get the thoughts of Marie and the panel.
Thanks, Adrian. Alan, we're just about 8 minutes or so to go. Do you think that we are going to see some of those fringe players getting minutes?
Yeah, that's what we're questioning here at the moment, Marie. Obviously, it's been a much harder second half. Nigeria have certainly upped the intensity and probably been a better team in that second half, but still yet to really create any clear-cut chances. And we found it difficult ourselves to get up the pitch and try and create a chance for ourselves. But as you say, now with only 8 minutes and the clock ticking, I have to be honest, I'd bring on the likes of Diane Caldwell, somebody who maybe has given so much of her time over the years, and I'm not one for sentiment really in sport, but I just think on this occasion somebody like that who might be calling it a day, it'd be no harm to give her 5 or 10 minutes.
Rebecca?
Yeah, looking at it there now, looks like we're making 2 substitutions at least, with Abby Larkin coming in for Payne, and then looks like Marissa Shiva coming in for Lily Agg, which is, look, it's surprising to me. I would like to see other fresh legs come in there, but look, we'll see how they play out now the last few minutes.
Okay, well, let's get confirmation of those changes with Adrian.
Yeah, and Nigeria about to make a change as well. Anomi Ebe is about to be introduced for the Nigerian side. And we'll bring you a confirmation of the Irish changes as well. And Blessing DeMehan is heading off. And confirmation of the attendance at 24,884. So Anomi Ebe is on for Nigeria. So Heather Payne, the other changes made by Ireland. Marissa Shiva's on.
Yeah, it was just the 2 changes. So Heather Payne came off.
Okay, we'll confirm them for you very, very shortly. So Abby Larkin and Marissa Shiva on for Lily Agg and Heather Payne. Meanwhile, Chiamaka Nadozi is still just feeling the effects of that challenge. What do you make of that double change? The fresh legs, the young, energetic legs of Marissa Shiva, and also of Abby Larkin, who of course stole the show with her impact in the second half in Sydney, on for the remainder of this game, and she'll certainly test that Nigerian defence if she can drive at them.
Yeah, of course, but in saying that, there's only 6 minutes left plus the added time. I would have liked to have seen her a bit sooner, to just be that threat and get in behind and to show off what she can do. As the guys were saying back in the studio as well, I would have liked to seen Diane Caldwell get in for a couple of minutes. But yeah, I think 5 minutes to go, just bringing on 2 subs. I would have liked to seen them a bit sooner.
Yeah, there's a bit of an issue here and as well for Ciara Carusa, who looks a little bit unsure and a little bit unsteady as well. They'll make sure the protocols are correct, but Ciara Carusa just for a moment looked a little out of sorts, but she's okay. So too is Chiamaka Nadozi. So just to confirm those changes for Ireland, Abby Larkin and Marissa Shiva on for Lily Agg and Heather Payne. Our attention was swung in a different direction once those changes were made. So play about to resume with just under 5 minutes to go. I guess an international manager will argue there's no room for sentiment at a World Cup. I know people would like to see the likes of Diane Caldwell, but I guess that's the other argument against making changes based on sentiment. We're 5 minutes away from a precious point, and maybe more, in our final match at the World Cup finals, and clearly the manager feels the better changes are the fresh legs of Marissa Shiva and also, of course, of Abby Larkin. Let's see if they can conjure up something in the remaining few minutes here in Brisbane, with it all square. Republic of Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. Chloe Mustaki, Claire O'Riordan and Ciara Grant also not getting any game time either in Australia. Also, of course, the two goalkeepers backing up Courtney Brosnan. Here's Denise O'Sullivan off to Marissa Shiva on the far side. Ania Fahy to Ruisha Littlejohn inside the centre circle, sprays it across to Ireland's left hand side where it's picked up by Katie McCabe just inside her own half. Megan Connolly slipping it forward to Ruisha Littlejohn, who has worked so hard. Sinead Farley is onto it under pressure now. She's been hustled by Michelle Alozzi. Tony Payne tries to close down Ruisha Littlejohn. Louise Quinn has it halfway inside the Irish half, and now Niamh Fahy on halfway. Denise O'Sullivan does so well just to take the ball on the half turn and sends it out to Ireland's left hand side for Megan Connolly, trying to thread the eye of the needle, trying to play the ball around Monday and into the path of Katie McCabe, but didn't quite come off for Ireland. And the clock ticks on here, just over 2.5 minutes remaining. Republic of Ireland 0, Nigeria 0. Michelle Alozzi to take the throw in for Nigeria, sending it down the line. Onamonu dispossessed, and the last touch came off the Nigerian player, so it's going to be a free kick. In fact, may have been handball by Onamonu, taken by Katie McCabe just inside the Nigerian half, sweeps it across to Ireland's right for Niamh Fahy. Denise O'Sullivan drops in to receive the pass. Off again now for Fahy, halfway inside the Nigerian half, delivers the cross up towards Ciara Carusa. Carusa battling away, does well to keep control of the ball. Forced away from goal, back with Niamh Fahy out to Ireland's right hand side. Ireland threatening, Shiva with the cross, plumped her with the header away. Niamh Fahy with the cushion ball for Marissa Shiva, Ireland's right hand side, forced to go back towards halfway, and now it's with Megan Connolly inside the centre circle. Ruisha Littlejohn available, short pass received by Ruisha Littlejohn. Sinead Farley on the turn, right footed with the outside of the right boot, off to Katie McCabe. McCabe back to Ruisha Littlejohn, takes a touch, closed down. Katie McCabe, Ireland doing really well, just knocking the ball around at the moment. Megan Connolly inside her own half, sprays it across field, picked up by Niamh Fahy, and Fahy slips it forward. Marissa Shiva and Abby Larkin on for the last few minutes here as Ireland tried to threaten once again. Larkin worked it back, and now Ireland come forward once again with Megan Connolly. And Connolly has possession once again, receiving from Ruisha Littlejohn. Connolly back to Louise Quinn, and Ireland trying to probe and prise open this Nigerian defence. Denise O'Sullivan tried to slide it through for the run of Marissa Shiva, and Plumter got there first and played it off Marissa Shiva, and the end result, despite the claims of Marissa Shiva, is goal kick to Nigeria. We're in the 90th minute, Claire.
Yeah, we are. Is there a goal there for us? I don't know. It seems to have gotten very slow. I don't know if that's down to tiredness. You know, a lot of these players have played all 3 games, and that's why I'm kind of questioning, you know, the substitutions only being 5 minutes from time. A lot of them look very tired, and that's, you know, quite obvious after playing 3 full games. But yeah, look, we're holding on to the ball, we're holding on to possession, we're doing well, but we still haven't really conceded, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I haven't coughed up too many chances anyway, that's
yeah,
for sure.
that's created anything, that's the word. So yeah, it's going to be 7 minutes at a time here by the looks of it, so hopefully we can get on the front foot and start creating something in those 7 minutes.
Well, there's plenty of time for either side to go and win it. Will Ireland show that sense of adventure? With 7 minutes to do so, you get a sense that Nigeria just dropping off at the moment. Ciara Carusa on the edge of the area, trying to link up with Denise O'Sullivan. Fed wide now for Sinead Farley. This is promising for Ireland. Farley turns away from goal. Here's Katie McCabe, 25 metres out. Off to Niamh Fahy, Ireland's right hand side. Abby Larkin forced into the wide right position. Shiva is there as well. Marissa Shiva rolls it back. Ireland trying to press and probe, and it might work out for Ireland, but in the end Nigeria nicked the ball back temporarily. Back with Katie McCabe, now operating in the centre of midfield for Ireland. Here's Ruisha Littlejohn, forced to send it back to Megan Connolly. Ireland pressing Nigeria back in the closing stages here. It's good to see. Will there be end product for Ireland? Sinead Farley sends it down the line. Ireland's left hand side for Katie McCabe. McCabe under real pressure has lost out here, and Nigeria have it back with Uchebe. Uchebe working it back to Monday, and Monday sending it back, and Nigeria just knocked the ball up towards halfway. Onamonu off in pursuit, and Louise Quinn across from the middle chases it down, and the ball goes out of play on this near side of the pitch, halfway inside the Irish half. But Ireland doing most of the pressing, most of the attacking in the dying minutes in stoppage time at the end of 90 minutes, 7 minutes to be added on, and we're in the second of those at the moment, and Ireland pushing forward once again in search of what would surely be a winning goal.
Yeah.
Sent forward now to Kira Carusa, and Carusa trying to just weave her way past Omone Ebe, goes down. The referee decides no free kick, much to the annoyance of the huge Irish support inside Brisbane Stadium. Ireland come once again, the ball played in the direction of Katie McCabe, but it just eludes her and drifts out of play on this near side. 3rd minute of stoppage time, and Ireland dictating the issue now, trying to fashion an opening. Is there one more chance in this match for Ireland? Nigeria just trying to see it out. They're such a threat on the break. Ireland have to be very, very careful. Michelle Olozi to take the throw in for Nigeria. Halfway inside her own half, sends it down the line, looking for Monday. Came off Littlejohn. And just listen to the Irish supporters. Well, they've travelled in huge numbers. They've been a credit as ever, Claire.
Yeah, they have. This whole experience has been surreal. The national anthems, the fans, all the travelling, it's been absolutely unreal, and it's definitely, they're definitely moments that I'll never forget, let alone the players. So they've done our nation really proud. They can be proud of their performances, and hopefully now they can just see this one out and get a point on the board.
Absolutely.
But I think Diane Caldwell is coming on.
That's great to see. Diane Caldwell coming on for the last few minutes here. Ireland will have the restart here. Diane Caldwell is about to come on for her 97th international cap. Not quite yet, by the looks of things, but that change imminent for the Republic of Ireland, with Diane Caldwell ready to be introduced. But it's a Nigerian throw-in, in fact, which is taken by Michelle Olozi. Monday. She just over-elaborated, and the free kick has been awarded to the Republic of Ireland just about 5 metres from the corner flag, and now that change will be made. Diane Caldwell, one of the great servants of Irish football, about to come on. Made her debut way back in 2006 against Denmark, and here she is coming on for her 97th international appearance. Nia Fahy is the player who goes off. Perhaps a little surprised. Nia Fahy, what a game Nia Fahy has had as well.
She's been superb. What she's done for Irish women's football is an unreal. She's been there since the very start, and now Diane Caldwell coming on too is just it's really nice to see. She deserves it. She's a true professional. She does really well when she does play, and I think she's deserved of coming on today, and it's going to be a special moment for her.
Diane Caldwell at 34 years of age, on for the last few minutes here in Brisbane. Nia Fahy, who is like a rock at the heart of the Irish defence alongside Louise Quinn. And Ireland, they knocked the ball straight out of play through Courtney Brosnan. So we're in the 6th added minute in Brisbane. Ireland seeking a precious point on the board in Group B, holding Nigeria at bay. Nigeria looking for the win that would seal top spot. By the way, in the other game, it remains 3-0 in favour of Australia. So 2 goals from Healy Rasso, and Mary Fowler also on target in that game. So Australia will top the group as it stands. Ball played forward in the direction of Kira Carusa, cut out by Ashley Plumter. Far side of the pitch, Ireland battling to try and win it back. In the dying minutes here, Can either side create one more chance? Certainly that's what Vera Pauw is hoping. So too the Nigerian boss, Randy Waldrum, the man from Texas. Nigeria ranked 40th in the world, but as Randy Waldrum said yesterday, he doesn't read too much into those particular standings. Here's Monday carrying it forward now for the Nigerians, weaving away from Megan Connolly, away from Katie McCabe. Still Monday driving forward. Risha Littlejohn goes sliding in. Monday offloads the pass. Adjubade works it onto her right, gets her shot away, and Courtney Brosnan scampers across to collect. It stays at 0-0, and we're in the 7th additional minute.
Yeah, Risha Littlejohn giving me a little heart attack here, diving into that outside the box, but she did really well. She timed it perfectly, and we did well to keep that out.
And Courtney Brosnan has the ball just outside our penalty area, gives the signal, right-footed, drives it downfield, but straight to Ashley Plumpter, will send it back down. Caldwell goes off in chase, happy to see the ball bounce out of play on the far side. Last few seconds here, Claire, we could have got the win. It looks like it could be a point. Not a bad evening's work.
No, it's not. I think, we worked on our performances over the last couple of days, and we obviously looked at where we went wrong and the moments we went wrong, but we also looked at what we did right. And I think today we kept the ball really well in possession, and it's full time here as well. But yeah, I'm really proud of the girls. I think they've been absolutely superb. They can hold their head high, and they were brave. They wanted to show their personality, and I think they really did that today. They really kept possession, and they did their best to try and score. Unfortunately, we didn't get the goal today, but leaving with a point.
Thank you, Claire. And so then Sydney, Perth and Brisbane, an historic achievement in getting here. A point on the board for that. Vera Pauw and these players deserve massive credit, and now of course the future lies in store, and the future is pretty bright, you'd have to imagine. There are matters still to be decided. That's for another day. But right now, let us salute the girls in green who made history getting here, and they have finished by picking up a point. Full time in Brisbane, Republic of Ireland 0, Nigeria 0.
Adrian and Claire. Well, back in studio here in Dalymount, we'll reflect on Ireland's performance and Ireland's World Cup campaign. Alan Cawley, thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, a battling performance as you'd expect from the girls. First half was very good, a lot better in possession than what we've seen in the previous games. Second half, a lot harder. Nigeria certainly upped the intensity, and they had to grind out the result, and they showed a lot of character, resilience, battled, and overall I think it was a deserved point. It's a pity we couldn't get a point on the board earlier in the campaign, but I suppose looking back on it overall, it was a good point today. But I think they should be very proud of the performances, Marie. It was a tough group. There's Nigeria being a surprise package. Everybody predicted that it would be Australia and Canada. Australia have obviously turned over Canada today, and Nigeria, who've done the business in the other games, find themselves now through to the qualifying stages or to the next round, and all credit to them.
Absolutely. Rebecca, just on Ireland's more positive approach to the game, do you think that they should have went with that earlier in the campaign?
I think it's very hard to say, when you're coming up against top class opposition like Australia, like Canada, I think we had it obviously planned out that we were going to sit in and just keep it safe. And look, hindsight is a great thing. We were talking about that earlier on, just letting the shackles off. I think it could have been a case maybe apart, the later stages of the last game, we could have done, what we done today a little bit earlier. But look, as I said, it's all about hindsight, and today they went out and played fearlessly, tried to show the world what we're made of and what we have and the capabilities we have in the attacking third. So look, as Alan has said, they can be so proud of themselves. They've got a great account of themselves across the 3 games, and it was a very, very tough group, probably the group of death as people were saying. But yeah, look, all round good approach and good.
Absolutely. And do you know what, Al? They belong on that stage. Like, that's the big takeaway from me. They belong there with all the best teams in the world. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. So that's what they can be very proud about, is the fact that they've competed at that level, as you say, Marie, against elite teams. Like, Canada were ranked 7th in the world going into the tournament, and obviously Australia were ranked 10th in the world. So when you're playing against two teams ranked in the top 10 at that level of football, obviously it's going to be a tough ask, but they competed really well. I go back to that opening game against Australia. That's the one that cost us really, Marie, because I felt we deserved the draw in that, and we all know what happened with the penalty. And had we have come out of that opening day with the point on the board, taking it into the Canada game, things could have been so different. But overall, as you say, it's certainly about obviously the legacy they're trying to create. I mentioned a couple of times in the previous games while we've covered them that you want this to become the norm rather than the exception. You don't want this to be an outlier in Irish women's football. You want it, as I say, to happen more and more. And hopefully, as I say, this experience from a lot of the girls, a lot of young girls as well, that this experience will stand them in good stead, because I've already seen from covering a couple of the other teams that have competed at their very first one come back in the second one with major improvements and do really, really well. And you hope that'll be the case for our team.
Yeah, certainly. And the quote from Katie McCabe has really stuck with me throughout this whole campaign, ever since they qualified, when she said we're going to change the way women's football is viewed in this country. And she really has.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we've talked about it across the campaign, the qualification campaign as well. Like, they've not only inspired a generation, I think they've inspired a nation now since being out there, and we always revert back to pre-2017, and obviously you've been through the football in this country as I have myself, and the kind of heights we're reaching now is exactly where we need to be and where we should be. And I don't think it's something that I ever thought I'd experience. I was sitting at the Euros final last year in Wembley looking, going, geez, isn't this great? Everyone's rallying around England or whoever, Germany, and I was like, what would it be if we got to something like this? And we have. And look, this is just a start now. What a foundation to build on. We've got great youth in this country, a great league, it's ever grown. Pump the investment, pump the fund, and get us going.
And do you know what we have as well? We have a great awareness now of this team. Yeah. Everywhere I went over the last couple of weeks, Al, people were asking me.
They're household names.
Yeah, they are household names. Yeah. And not just Katie and Denise, who were the two probably flagship players before the tournament, but you look at the rest of the girls now, and some of them have emerged. And a young player like Abby Larkin, and they're the future. I was glad towards the end of era did give Diane Caldwell a few minutes. Absolutely. Because it's so important for the likes of Louise, Niamh, as Rebecca said, all the girls who've soldiered for so long to have their moment. They've had it now, and now it's about obviously building on that with a lot of the young players and the ones that are kind of coming through, not only domestically but across the water, wherever we can get the players from, really. But it's so important that we capitalise on this. The FEI, Irish football in general, that didn't happen for the men in 1990, and you look at obviously the doldrums we were in for so long in men's football, and still in them to an extent. So you want the women's game to capitalise on this experience and grow from this.
Yeah, the foundations are there now. The key is to keep building across the board, keep developing the players, growing the National League, seeing our big players play in the biggest stages as well, like the Katies and Denises. People now have they have role models, they have footsteps they want to follow in, they've got a platform now that they'll want to be part of, and that is absolutely amazing. That's all we have time for, I'm afraid. So for us, thank you so much for listening. Myself and Rebecca will be back on Game On this evening, analysing all of today's action. Ireland's World Cup journey ends here, but the next chapter in women's football is just beginning, and we'll be there every step of the way. Tracy Clifford is up next.
2FM Sport.
The Republic of Ireland have picked up their first ever point at a Women's World Cup after finishing their debut campaign with a 0-0 draw against Nigeria. Ireland's hopes of progressing through the tournament had ended with those narrow defeats to both Australia and Canada in their first games of Group B, but they've now secured a draw against Nigerians. From Brisbane, here's Adrian Eames.
A brave front foot performance from Ireland yielded a point. It might have been 3. The Irish bossed the first half with Katie McCabe pressing up from left wing back. The Irish skipper had a great early opportunity. Sinead Farley teed it up, but McCabe pulled her left-footed shot from inside the area across the face of goal and wide. At the other end, Nigeria's Asisat Ashwala flashed a shot wide after a loose pass from Louise Quinn. In the second period, Courtney Brosnan made a vital save, pushing Uchenna Kanu's header onto the crossbar. At the other end, Denise O'Sullivan had a goal-bound shot blocked away for Ireland, who finished the game strongly. An historic first ever World Cup appearance for Ireland ends with a scoreless draw. Full time in Brisbane, Republic of Ireland 0, Nigeria 0.
So Ireland go home, but with a point. Nigeria progress as runners-up, and it's the co-host Australia who'll go through as the group winners. They had a 4-0 win over the Olympic champions Canada, who exit the competition. The Ireland rugby head coach Andy Farrell has reported a fully fit squad ahead of Ireland's opening World Cup warm-up game against Italy at the Aviva Stadium on Saturday. Captain Johnny Sexton, of course, will take no part in any of the squad's 3 games before departing for France due to suspension.